Welcome to the January 9th version of the EVA Neighborhood Board. It's great to see our neighbors in attendance here physically as well as virtually online. Welcome. Before we get started with our official proceedings, I'd like if we could just take a few moments to keep in mind a few things. One, this day of remembrance for one of our great presidents, the great Jimmy Carter. Secondly, our extended Ohana here who are going through the emotions of losing loved ones through the fireworks tragedy. And finally, for those extended Ohana on the mainland that are going through the Pacific Palisades fire disaster, it can be a very triggering moment for those of our Ohana much closer here on Oahu as well as in the neighboring islands. So a couple moments of silence and a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, Lord God, we thank you for the blessings that you continue to bring upon us. We understand that with the sun comes the rain to make the rainbow, and that in sorrow there is also only love. But without love, there can be no sorrow, there can be no loss. We ask that you continue to bless those that have lost. Let them see the light within you, and may the light within all of us come to help them. In Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, folks. I appreciate that. With that, we'll have Board Member Tananis read the rules of speaking.
Here, rules of speaking, although this is a community public forum, your input and cooperation is really appreciated. The EVA Neighborhood Board is an advisory board, and we provide fairness, integrity, and collaboration to increase and assure effective citizen participation in the decisions of government. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to raise their hand, and when recognized by the chair, to be addressed comments to the chair. Speakers are encouraged to keep their comments to under 1 minute, one turn per person. These given reports are urged to keep the reports less than 3 minutes and presentations under 10 minutes. Please silence all electronic devices. The board will be making a good faith effort to provide the public with the opportunity to observe the meeting as it happens, and in an opportunity to provide oral testimony without physical presence in the physical meeting room. Please ensure that your computer or phone is muted unless you are speaking to people online. Note, the board may take action on any agenda item as required by the Sunshine Law. Specific issues not noted on this agenda cannot be voted on unless added to the agenda. A 2/3 vote with 8, how many do we have? Members? 8 of the 11 member board is needed to add to add an agenda item to the agenda. Items may not be added if they are major. Items may not be added if they are of major importance that will affect a significant number of people. Thank you.
Mahalo. Hold on to the microphone if you could there, Chair. Board Member Tananis. We're going to do introduction of board members. And we'll begin with those online.
Good evening, everyone. This is Alexander Gauss. Good to see everyone. Happy New Year. Dealing with a little bit of flu issue, so I hope everyone's doing well. See you next month.
Thank you for keeping us safe, Alex.
I'm not sure if there's a particular order, but I'm Isaiah. And like Alex, flu season's in my household, my wife and my baby. So I hope I'm not next, but I figure wife is on some NyQuil. So I might pop out and grab baby if she cries, but otherwise I'll be right back. But anyway, nice to be here today.
Awesome. Mahalo as well for keeping us safe. And we have one more on online.
Aloha, Mike Plowman here.
Hey, Mike, how's it? You're not under the weather too, are you?
Trying not to be.
Okay. And then we'll start with my right here.
Happy New Year, Mitchell Tananis.
Happy New Year, Susan Gorman Chang. Corey Rosenlee.
Hello, everyone, and my name is John Clark, and I am the chairperson. With that, we'll get underway with item number 2 on the agenda, Public Safety First Responder Reports. Honolulu Fire Department. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to HPD.
Evening, Chair, board members, members of the community, Corporal Pagan with the Honolulu Police Department, District 8 Community Policing. With me online today should be Lieutenant Marino Carrera, as well as Sergeant Fumi Moroka and newest member to our team of Corporal Corey Makino. Prior to doing the stats, I just wanted, with the remembrance and everything, I just wanted to remember the firefighter and his family and the first responders that had to do with that situation.
Thank you.
I got your stats for December. In December, we had 44 motor vehicle thefts in the district, 10 in our area, 20 burglaries, 5 in our area, 141 thefts, 29 in our area, 27 unauthorized entries into a motor vehicle, 3 in our area. There's a total of 638 citations issued, total of 8,548 calls for service, 2,258 in our area. That's all I got. I'm open for any comments, questions, or concerns.
Thank you, Corporal Pagan. Any comments, questions, concerns from the board? None in the physical meeting space, any online? Seeing none, any in the community?
I have a quick question.
Okay, go ahead, Isaiah.
I don't know if this is the appropriate form to ask this question, or if you even track these statistics. But being that we had the firework incident this year, do you track any firework related, arrests or citations that were made in the area?
Yeah, actually, I was actually waiting for Corey to ask me that question. I actually came prepared tonight. Yeah, so for November, we had a total of 174 calls, fireworks service calls regarding violations, 85 in our area. So 85 in the Eva district area. December, we had 369 in the district, 157 in our area. I don't have a number of arrests, if any were made. To be honest, I don't believe that any were made, but I don't quote me on that, because I hate to downplay some of the work that our crime reduction unit officers have been doing. Again, with fireworks, it's a very difficult issue. With the laws, the way things have to be done in order for us to actually cite or arrest someone and stuff like that. So I know the legislators and the lawmakers and the mayor and the governor, everybody trying to figure out how we can get around some of those issues that we're dealing with and stuff like that. But that's what we have for calls for service. I don't believe we had anything serious in our area over the New Year's, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I haven't heard anything major in our area.
All right, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yes, Corey.
Okay, so a couple questions. Number one, it would be good to see comparison years from past to. I appreciate that you have the numbers. It really is good. But I still want to see, if we can't tell from month to month, but we want to see from year to year whether we're making a dent in this at all. And
Yeah.
it dramatically changes. So I appreciate last time you gave those numbers, and those are really helpful. So my question to you is, let's look at this in parts. We're getting these calls as complaints. And then what happens? Is it that there's no evidence and it's not followed through? People are, is it that this is going to the prosecutor's office and they're not following through? What's happening between the calls and actual prosecution, which is what is breaking down?
The biggest issue that we're dealing with right now with the fireworks calls is the anonymous calls by the time the officers get there and actually catching somebody lighting it. There have been instances where officers have actually showed up and the items actually going off. But unfortunately, with it being in the middle of the road, there's no way we can prove whose house it came from, which is one of the issues, not to mention who actually lit the item. So those are some of the issues that we're having right now. Because again, with the amount of fireworks that are going on, you can have one officer going to one call and then get another call for somewhere else. And by the time he gets to either one of them, either it's already in the air or it's already done and the people are nowhere to be found. Again, with the fear of pitting neighbor against neighbor, the biggest thing that would help us is if a neighbor was willing to make a statement of who lit it and what happens of that. Again, we understand, the complexities of living in Hawaii and how, most people live there for years and years, and you don't want to have to deal with that situation with living with your neighbor. But we are working on some things where if we start getting reports, especially coming with 4th of July and stuff like that, but maybe we'll go out and send some undercover officers to go and speak to the people where we're getting the reports from, to let them know that we'll be watching the houses and stuff like that. So if we can get more information from the neighbors or people that are calling, because you can report stuff like that anonymously, but we do need like an address. You kind of just say, hey, there's fireworks going off in Ewa Beach, I need you to stop it. It's a little bit difficult. But if we have an address of where it's coming from, we can go and knock on the door and find out what's going on and let them know that we're getting complaints and we're keeping an eye on.
Follow up, John. So then
Uh,
my
Yeah,
question,
let's wrap it up though. We can't
yeah,
be
so my
that long.
question then is that when everything comes together, there is the evidence. In your experience, does the prosecutor's office follow through? So what I've heard is this becomes such a low priority.
Corey,
in the
let him
prosecutor's
answer the
office.
question. If you're gonna ask me a question,
So
don't ask and answer.
my question is then, in your experience, is the prosecutor's office following through with this?
My understanding is they are. Speaking to some of the prosecutors, there are some issues with what's being required of them to prove that even though this box is labeled explosive, is proving that it's an explosive. So again, thank goodness for social media and the internet, but we got some really, really good defense attorneys nowadays. So they're finding ways to question the law. So I know they are trying though.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Officer Pingan. Would you like to turn your head around and speak on behalf? Oh, you have a question? Rob? Okay.
Happy New Year, guys. Last year, we had a task force. The state and the House came together, putting about $3 million to try to look for illegal fireworks. And the task force is going out into the boats and trying to see how they can seize all these fireworks from getting on island to help with the issues going on, just to let the community know and see where probably in 2025 now, it's probably maybe operated. I got to double check if the governor went past that, but the state and House went past it. So just to let you know, thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Just a final thought on that, in my family, my daughters go to school on the mainland, but they were home and we were talking about this, of course, in our household. If that many illegal fireworks are getting through, you can imagine how much cocaine, marijuana, you name it, whatever else is getting through. And, over on the mainland, I don't know, those of you that spent significant time over there in Detroit on the eve of Halloween, they have Devil's Night. And many, many years ago, the thing to do is set fire to vacant homes. And they went through a whole stretch for decades, but that was part of the culture there, believe it or not, was to set fire to homes. So sometimes it takes a cultural shift, that arc of time, to address something like this. So I know there's hope has been expressed that this recent tragedy will sort of bring on some measures that will help us get through this next step. Have a Weed and Seed, sir?
I have nothing new to report for Weed and Seed. We are still here. We are still working on funding our youth programs, our Kapuna programs. Oh, I'm sorry, there was one thing. Just wanted to mention that December 25th, our community policing team was able to, with some funds from Weed and Seed Hawaii, we're actually able to put 150 gift bags of home supplies and stuff like that for some elderly in our community. So we were able to give those out to them on Christmas Day, and actually had Santa Claus there to give it out. So thank you for Weed and Seed for that. Just going back a little bit with the fireworks thing, I believe Saturday, I'm not sure where, I just kind of briefly heard about it, is I believe they're doing an amnesty turn-in program for fireworks. I'm hoping somebody might have that information, but I just kind of heard about it on the way out today. So, but that's about it.
Thank you, Corporal. Thank you. Stay safe. Aloha. Please go to the mic. State your name.
Peter Ongoy, can we get that added to the statistics, the fireworks cost of service? Or is this, we stuck with?
I'll answer on behalf of Corporal Bacon. So the statistics that we have, we used to have this sheet, it used to be only 3 columns long. And I begged, I think for 2 or 3 years to have it extended out to, what is it now, 6 months? So I know it's a chief of police, kind of like statewide, city police-wide thing, but there's no harm in asking for it. So thank you, Corporal Bacon. Moving on to Board Administration and Planning, approval of regular meeting minutes from our Thursday, November 14th meeting. Approval? Everyone had a chance to go through them. No major changes. Yes, Susan. Microphone?
Page 2, item 3, under the regional permitted interaction groups. I was wondering if we could note who was assigned to each of those groups, like I am assigned to the,
Yes, we have that for action.
thank you.
That's a good catch, Susan. Thank you. Mitch?
Am I still absent if I kept trying to call and you couldn't get on? I see absent because if I get 3,
We'll interject excused absence in there. And
Thank you.
excused absence that we know is always better than just absent. So that's a good point there. Okay, moving on to resolution, good government reforms. So a little history on this. We went over this resolution a couple neighborhood board meetings back. It was, I believe, voted on with some amended verbiage. So we don't necessarily have to read the resolution here, but I think we do need to vote on it. Is that correct? So do the board members remember this resolution about good government reforms? I know it's been a while. This was last year. Yeah, Jenna. Mhm. Jenna and was it Maria? Maria. Corey, you remember this? Okay. Mike, Isaiah, remember? Okay. We do have quorum, so I would like to vote on this measure. And most of the neighborhood boards throughout Oahu, just for the general audience's situation awareness. This was basically a resolution asking for to insert certain steps within the actions of government to make sure that we, when I say we, I'm talking about the corporate citizen collective, do some things to reform government. So we voted on it, and the verbiage is pretty much the same. So I'd like to do a quick, do we have to roll call? Okay. We'll do a quick voice vote.
Before I begin, can it be moved, please? Because there's an amendment I'd like to make.
Okay, amendment to,
The resolution. I remove it. It's okay.
okay, thank you, Corey, appreciate it. So all those in favor of,
Chair, this is Alex. Can you just read the title of the resolution just for the attendees that maybe weren't here last time, just so we know what we're voting on?
Jeffrey's going to try to locate it right quick, Alex. So the
Okay,
resolution does.
I don't have it either right in front of me, so I'm not putting anyone on the spot. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. If I do a search through my emails, I can probably come up with it. Tell you what we'll do. We'll move that item agenda to after the presentations, and we'll come back to that so that we can read through it. Does that work for you, Alex?
Yeah, that's great. Mahalo.
Okay. Moving on to presentations. First, the bus route modifications, Department of Transportation Services, DTS.
Short. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Thank you for having us. My name is Irene Bonell. I'm with the Department of Transportation Services. And our department introduced some proposals to the Eva and Kapolei neighborhood boards in the summer of last year. And since then, we've received hundreds of survey responses and feedback. And after some adjustments, we are here tonight to present the finalized bus service changes coming up for this year. So this is for 2025 in the Eva Beach, Eva, and Kapolei and Makakilo areas. So this is the overview, just so you can see clearly what we're going to be talking about tonight. The routes 47, 41, 44, 415, and 461. Okay, so we can go to back to the top. Thank you, Jeffrey. Okay, so 2025 bus service changes, and then next. We'll start with new route 47. So this is a brand new route. If it looks a little familiar to you, it's because the Route 47 it will be absorbing part of the Route 44, particularly the parts that are in Lower Eva and Eva Beach area. So the 47 will go from Fort Weaver Road at the end by Pu'uloa Beach Park, and then going up to Papipi, and then coming up on Fort Weaver, then Keoneula. And you'll see that it still goes, it's a two-way service. It touches on Eva Beach Shopping Center still, Keoneula Elementary, Eva Makai Middle School. And then this is a new area of service. It'll turn right on Keaunui Drive, which is on the front part of Laulani Valley Shopping Center, where there's McDonald's and all that. And then hang a left, back up Keaunui, goes to Holomua Elementary School that used to be served by the 44, or it's still served by the 44. And then turns out to Kolawaka and then goes out to Kapolei Parkway. So the 47, similar to the 41 now, it's going to be just another connection between the Eva Beach community out to Kapolei. Something important to point out is that the 47 will be giving service to Kamakana Li'i Shopping Center. And when it ends up going up to UH West Oahu Station at the very end, turns around, comes back down, at Kanehili Homestead, there's, you know how there's like a wall separating the homestead from Kualaka'i Parkway? There's openings within the wall that connect to the community. We're going to have bus stops near there so people from the community have bus access. So next slide. So a few details about it. The 47 will run from 4 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. and it'll give hourly service, 60-minute service. And then those are, again, the areas of service that it'll cover that was seen on the map. And next slide. So if the 47 is absorbing the lower part of the 44, this is what the 44 will look like. It'll start from West Lock Station, come down Fort Weaver. It will not service Queens Medical Center anymore. We talked to Queens about this, and we did the surveys, and there was a lot more in favor of taking away that bus stop. It is very rarely used. So the bus will continue service on Fort Weaver, hang a right onto Renton, and again, go to Kamakana Li'i Shopping Center and up to UH West Oahu Station, serving the same stops as the 47. So then next. So 44 will run from 4:30 a.m. to 12:45 a.m. the next day. 60-minute service. And then discontinued service areas, like I said, Queens Medical Center. Geiger Road will no longer have service. That is also one of the service areas that has very low ridership. And then Kaileo Drive between Kapolei Parkway and Keoneula Boulevard. New service areas, the Kanehili Homestead, Kamakana Li'i Shopping Center, Kapolei Skyline Station, and UH West Oahu Skyline Station. And next. The 461 doesn't really affect Eva Beach, but it's part of the whole restructure. It's part and parcel of that. So that will go from Makakilo and it'll go straight to UH West Oahu Station off of Farrington. Still providing service to Kapolei Shopping Center and Walmart. Next slide. Span of service for that is 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. Weekends and state holidays, 7 a.m. to 8. And then frequency is 60 minutes. Discontinued service area is Villages of Kapolei. Route 41, that will still be connecting Eva Beach to Kapolei. It'll still serve the lower area by Kilaha and Eva Beach Transit Center. Head up all the way to Kapolei Parkway, cross over Renton Road, and then make its way to Kamakanali'i. It'll go down on Roosevelt and continue on Roosevelt Avenue. And this is a new area of service. They only have one route servicing in the Kalailoa area now, the 415. But this Route 41 will also provide service. There's Dreamhouse, Eva Beach School. There's several residential areas. There's also Barbers Point Elementary School. And then the Daniel Akaka VA Clinic. And then it'll hang a right on Kamokila and pass by Kaiser West Oahu Clinic and then end up at the Kapolei Transit Center. Next, please. So the 41 span of service will be 5 a.m. to 10:15 p.m. 40-minute frequencies on the weekdays, 60-minute frequencies on the weekends. We detailed out the schools that will be receiving service with this route. Eva Beach Elementary, Eva Makai Middle, Dreamhouse, Barbers. And then the shopping centers, Eva Beach and Kamakanali'i. Medical services. There's also Queens Island Urgent Care on Kapolei Parkway, in addition to the VA Clinic and the Kaiser West Oahu. So discontinued service areas are Villages of Kapolei, Kapolei High School, and Kapolei Marketplace and Shopping Center. So next slide. So the good thing is, whoever is listening to the Villages of Kapolei, this route will give service to that area. So Route 415, this will be running counterclockwise, so it'll only be serving in the one direction, as you can see on the map. So this will go from, let's start from the Kapolei Transit Center and go out onto the Parkway down to the VA Clinic on Roosevelt and service everything on the Makai side of Roosevelt Ave and come down Lexington to Yorktown and reach a whole bunch of the transitional homes down there. They'll get a lot better service with this route. Head up to the high school on Roosevelt Fort Barrett, or Roosevelt, sorry, Kapolei Parkway. Hang a right at the schools and then come up Kama'aha and Kealanani, which is where the Villages of Kapolei and their senior residents' homes are. So next slide. Span of service for this one is 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. You saw how tight the route is, so frequency is pretty good, 35 minutes. Weekends, it'll run at 60 minutes. The new service areas for this route, right now it serves Kalailoa, but it will serve Villages of Kapolei. It'll service the high school, Dreamhouse, Barbers, the VA Clinic, and Kaiser West Oahu. And then next slide. So yeah, those are the overall changes. I did want to draw attention to where those black arrows are. We did some restructuring so we can build up a couple of major transfer points where people can take any of these services or other buses, other existing services, and catch the bus to where they continue to want to go. So Kamakanali'i, shopping center. That's going to have a few new bus stops where if, let's say you're coming from the Kapolei Transit Center, you take the 41 to Kamakana, but you want to actually go out to Waipahu, West Lot. So you can take that to Kamakana Li'i and then transfer to the 44 and then go on your way. Or the other major transfer point is Renton and Kapolei Parkway. There's going to be new bus stops there at each leg of the intersection, where if you have your bus timetable or route map, you can pick which bus stop that you want to go to continue on your way. So that's another place where you can make a major transfer. With new service areas, there will be new bus stops coming in, and pretty sure all of the new bus stops that we scoped out for this restructure, they're in areas where parking is prohibited anyway. But just as a reminder, bus stops are no parking tollway zone areas. So if there's places where, a bus stop is put and there's parking on the street, the bus stop is automatically a no parking tollway zone. So I think that's it. Our contact information is up there, email, phone number, and voicemail in case the phone line's busy.
Thank you. I'm
Thank
sure there'll
you.
be questions from the board. Before they ask the question, I just want to point out that this is not the first time this board has seen this, because I remember there were proposed changes last time. And the question that I had last time, and you answered it very succinctly, was, in general, the bus service has contracted or expanded? And your answer was expanded, actually.
Yeah, we have definitely more routes than before.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the bottom line up front that I'd like to give the community, that this is not some major services going away, that there's, and I realize there's some trade-offs here, but in general, more is.
Yeah, generally more. What we try to do with this restructure, we always reevaluate to see how we can make things better. And with this restructure, we try to build more connectivity within the Eva Beach and Kapolei areas, because Kalailo, Roosevelt, we just drive right through, but really, there's a lot of communities to be connected there.
So you built a better network of services, probably.
Yes.
Okay. With that, open up questions to the board. Corey, I saw you had your hand up.
Yeah, can you back up the slide? I have a question. It's okay. My question is, in the morning, students from West Lock, how do they get to Elima and Campbell? It seemed like there was no bus route map that had them being able to get to school.
Oh, from Fort Weaver, you're
From
talking.
West Lock, okay.
West Lock up.
How do they get?
Oh, the West Lock
How
Station.
do they get to Campbell and how do they get to Elima?
Oh, currently, the E. My supervisor.
Hi, my name is Jay. The Route 42 and Route E is still going to be running. That's not changing.
Thank you.
Additional questions from board members? Mitch?
How much is it to ride the bus?
Senior youth art.
Senior.
Yeah, no, the last time I rode a bus was quarter, okay? I remember now they putting $1 bills in our cars and, I asking.
No, that's a good question, because now I'm blanking on that.
$3.
$3.
We used to put a cord, then came the yellow button, you press the sign, and now, I don't know, so.
Yeah, so $3 is the one-way fare. If you have a holo card, you get 2.5 hours of free transfers. It's unlimited transfers with the holo card. If you're paying cash, there's no transfers. Yeah, so we encourage getting a holo card because you get that 2.5 hours of unlimited free transfers. And then you also get a day cap at $7.50, so you can ride as many times as you want throughout the day for $7.50. That's the max you'll get charged
With the holo card.
with the holo card.
Cheaper rate for students?
There are student rates, yeah.
Okay.
Annual might be 45. I'll have to double check, but yeah, I can.
All right.
I can
Get
check
back to you on that one for sure.
Thank you.
So Mitch is a student of life. So does that mean that he gets a
Lifelong
discount?
student, yeah.
Any questions from board members online? Seeing none? Questions from members of the public?
Oh.
Officer Pagan?
Watch it.
Yeah, I just got a question. Are they ever planning on going digital with the Colo cards? I have about 800 under my name because my son keeps losing
I'll
them.
give him one.
But, they tend to lose those, but not their phones. So is there a way to, are they
Oh.
thinking about doing digital with those
Good
so they can
question.
scan them digitally?
Oh.
And
That's a good one. It's not on our radar yet, but I guarantee at some point in the future.
You heard it here
Thank you.
first, Officer Pagan. Rep,
Hi, my question is, I didn't see Iroquois on there. Do you have a bus going to Iroquois?
Not with this restructure. We have, the closest we got is the Keaunui. So that's the 47. But current routes, Jay, do you know if there's a current route on Iroquois? I don't know, yeah.
Do you know why you guys are not going to Iroquois? Iroquois Point, yeah. Yeah, going up North Road all the way to the military.
Capilano Homes.
Capilano Homes, yes.
Oh, the
We've been trying to get
Okay.
a bus up there for a while now, but wondering what kind of service or how come you did it added in?
Yeah, we checked on,
Was there,
at our last subcommittee meeting, right before this, I asked about that too. Like, is any update on the Capilino Homes? Because that was being handled at like our administration and Capilina. So the last I was told was, no, there's no service. As you know that already.
if you did that study, we would like to know why.
Okay.
If maybe it wasn't worth it because of ratio numbers or something, but if it could at least get the kids in the morning and in the evening, some kind
Like a
of
school
special
trip or
routes,
peak service
Yeah.
kind of thing.
and that would help out, but, okay.
Okay.
can follow
Well,
up.
actually, Rep, can you just like, this is not the first time this question has been asked.
Correct,
We've
yeah.
asked this question multiple times at this board, and no disrespect, but we haven't received a satisfactory answer. So when he says, and we know there was a study, and we had asked for the results of the study or the rationale why there still would be no
Mhm.
bus service there, knowing that there's a need for it there. So if not you or Jay, is your name Jay? Yeah, if one of you can come back to next month's meeting and give us an answer, we'd be terribly excited.
The results of the Capilina or the reason why.
The reason why,
Okay.
the rationale, and the study may be part of that rationale, but it seems like you would want to give the residents insight into why, because I said we've asked multiple times, we've not been given a satisfactory answer.
Yeah, and it's a big safety for those kids walking to school, so, thank you.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Officer Piggin, and then Senator Favela, I'll get you.
sorry, one of the incidents that I heard from one of the principals was that they were saying that there was an issue with the military, with the bus going on that property because it's still technically military property.
Oh, the
Um,
opening and the closing of the gate.
Going in and out. So I don't know if you guys got to talk to them as well. Because there was concern about buses and having to be checked before they go on in this area. So you might want to check with the military to see if they have an issue with the buses going on.
I've
because
heard I've heard the same thing too. Like there's that involvement, but yeah, we need to follow up with a more clear answer.
That would make sense. Senator Favela, you still online? Senator Favela, are you muted? Have you taken yourself off mute?
There we go. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Can you speak up just a little bit louder though?
Okay. So the bottom line is we've been working on this for the last 2 years with your department. The military already said that they would give them access and escort onto the through the Marines. You guys did one study or a so-called survey that was inconclusive because at the time you wasn't having that much public residential in there when they studied. So I asked your boss to redo it because it is a need and it was always a demand. You guys had made the excuse that you guys couldn't get on. We had a meeting at Capilino Homes and the Marines agreed to have bus services in there because Capilina made a nice bus stop, one bus stop to pick up the people on the city bus and go whatever route that they decide to go and they can take the kids to school. So again, nobody reached back out. Nobody gave up an update or anything like that. But everybody else is on board. Yes, I guess you guys' department. Because you cannot say the mayor, you cannot say the managing director. It's your department. I don't know what the lady's name that came, and she did a very poor job in trying to accommodate that community who had a big demand, yeah, in the bus services. So yes, this has been talked about a lot. We came to the table, we all agreed that the Marines was going to man the gate, let the buses in without checking, bring them through to where it's safe, and by Iroquois Elementary, and then they can continue on. We was going to try a pilot program for 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 times a day, morning for the kids to be able to get on bus ride in case they missed the school bus, 1 in the midday, and the 3rd one in the afternoon, just in case the kids need to get transportation back home. And again, failure.
Thank you,
So I
Senator.
hear all these beautiful things that you guys like talk about, Kapolei and extending routes. We was first in line. And again, we get the shaft. So please go back, really do this study, and come back with a better plan than telling us how great you guys are doing in helping out Kapolei and Kalailoa. Ever Beach is what we need help. And you guys always shortchanging us. So go back and go to do that and bring them back to the board. And I like what answer. In fact, I like your boss come back and give the community her poor answer that she gave me. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator. So can you take that down for an action to,
Jay, you got all that?
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. And I'd like to move on from this. We're well into the 20-minute. It's an important topic, affects a significant portion of our community, which is the reason why I was willing to go past the 10-minute limit. But moving on to our next presentation, EVA Early Learning Center Development from the Department of Community Services. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So I have handouts for board members, so I'll hand that out real quick.
Can you state your name?
Yeah, my name is Jordana Ferrer with the Department of Community Services. Thank you. And then this is our Deputy Director, Edward Los Baños.
Can you say your name again slowly this time?
Jordana Ferreira.
Jordana Ferreira. Okay. And your name?
Deputy Director, Department of Human Services.
Jeffrey, do you mind? Perfect. Thank you. Okay, and then I do have a few extra copies of this PowerPoint, so I'll leave it on the table in case any community member wants to take it with you later. But aloha, good evening, everyone. My name again is Jordana Ferrer. I'm the Early Childhood Resource Coordinator with the city under the Department of Community Services. So mahalo chair and board members and the EVA community for letting me speak a little bit about what I think is a very exciting project the city is taking on. And I hope you will be excited as well, since the focus will be supporting on our youngest keiki and our ohana, especially our working families. So very quickly, a little bit about myself. I am a fellow West Sider. I come from Waianae, so I am acutely aware of the extended time everyone has when it comes to commute. So I will try to keep this quick and honor your time, because I know you all would rather be spending it with your family or friends instead of me. Okay, so I'm excited about this project. So early childhood, our focus is on kids under the age of 5. So this project is a child care facility construction. So the city is prioritizing this work, recognizing the big need that childcare has, especially for our working families. And the way that I like to sort of think about this and what the city's initiatives and priorities are is from a quote, actually, from President JFK. So he once said that children are the living messages that we send to a time that we will not see. And I really love that quote because it speaks to the fact that our keiki are our future, but more importantly, the work that we do today impacts them and how that turns out for them. So it really highlights the importance of the work that we all have to do to set a really strong foundation for our children so that they have a brighter future tomorrow, whether we are able to see that or not. So can you scroll down a little bit? Thank you. So the EVA community is very unique makeup. We know this. There are lots of keiki, there are lots of kupuna, and there is a lot of people in between. We also know that there is a lot of development plans coming up. There are a lot of housing projects cropping up, and a lot of these housing are designed for families and family dwellings because that is the current demographic and also the projected demographic. We also know that the projections are nearly 87,000 jobs by 2035. So we're also anticipating seeing a lot more job growth in the community. And because of that, childcare facilities will be very important. They are the sustaining life force for our families who are working. And everyone here I know is very intimately familiar with the cost burden of living on our island home. We have to work, and we have to work really hard. And for families with children, childcare is the lifeline support that helps them in obtaining and securing employment, which helps to alleviate some of those burdens. I had to make the decision recently for childcare for Keiki, and we really wanted him to be able to be placed somewhere at home in the coast. It was important to us to make sure that he was able to set those formative experiences very early on in the place that we called home so that he could grow a deep appreciation for that. We were able to make it work, but we understood that that would come at a cost, especially if, you know, there was a minor accident and traffic added to commute time and we incurred late fees. But we were lucky and fortunate. But it's not beyond me to know that lots of families don't have that opportunity. And that's what this project really is. This project is the city's efforts to alleviate some of those costs to families, making sure that there are childcare options in the community that you call home so that your Keiki can grow and thrive and learn and develop in a place that's really important to them and that's really important to your ohana. Okay, so can you slow down? Thank you. Okay, so we do have a parcel owned by the city that is earmarked for the construction of childcare. So I do want to provide just a little bit of context on how we got this parcel. So pursuant to our land use ordinance, when this area was rezoned from ag to residential, there is a stipulation that a portion of that needs to be deeded to the city. So that is why this parcel was deeded to the city for this purpose. It was a 40,000 square foot parcel that is on Keaunui Drive. And so the plans for this parcel is actually two parts. So the first phase, which is what we'll be overseeing in DCS, will be the construction of a 20,000 square foot childcare facility. The second phase, which will be led by EMS, will be the construction of an ambulance housing station, because we know that that is a really big need in the community as well. So again, we recognize that the demographics of EVA is Keiki Tukapuna, and we understand that there are a lot of safety public health needs in the community as well. So that those are plans in the future for phase 2. So once constructed, so the city will be working with the state. The state will be providing some funding and the construction component for the parcel. And once the construction is completed, the city will then be managing the operation of, and we plan to lease the property at a rate less than market value to a qualified childcare provider so that we can add more affordable childcare opportunities for families. So an example real quick, the Early Education Center out at Honolulu Hale, our contractor who operates the facility is Siegel Schools. So because we lease that under market value, they're able to actually charge a lower tuition rate. That's a little bit more affordable to families. Another stipulation of the work for the operator will be to work closely with families to apply for childcare subsidies. So the state, thanks to our state legislators, had made some changes to our Preschool Open Doors program. So now with those changes, eligible families should not be paying more than 7% of their income towards childcare, which is really good. And we're anticipating hopefully more changes in this upcoming session that will provide more meaningful funding to more families as well. So we're hoping with these robust comprehensive services, we'll be able to keep these rates low or at least help families to be able to offset some of that cost. You know, we know families are struggling, so any amount of money we can shave on some expenses just means more money in their pockets and more money that they can use for things that they really need. Okay. So that's a map of the parcel. It is right in between Friendship Baptist Church and the park. So it is 91-1052 Keaunui Drive. I have the TMK number up there as well. So again, it'll be a 20,000 square foot facility, which will include indoor outdoor space plus a parking lot. And then the other half in the future phase will be for EMS. Okay, and then real quick, because I know environmental issues are very important, especially in this community, and especially bringing to light a lot of the issues we've been seeing, especially right now in LA, you know, the Maui wildfires and whatnot. So I do want to just share that we have been having some very preliminary conversations with key stakeholders, including Director Sullivan, with our Office of Climate Change and Climate Change Resiliency and Sustainability, CCSR. Because another aspect of this is really making sure that we're building a facility that incorporates the changing, evolving needs of our communities, including the environment, climate, and all that good stuff. So we will be working with partners to make those in the design plan considerations, how we can include climate mitigation strategies, adaptation strategies, resiliency strategies, and bake that into the infrastructure needs. And I'm also trying to figure out ways that we can also put that on the operational side of things as well. So that once childcare services are being provided, we're working with families and children to be able to develop foundational skills so that they learn to be good stewards of Aina, good stewards of their community, and hopefully to grow that love and respect for their home. Okay. I think this is the last slide. So this is our projected timeline. So I am working with folks internally and with the states to complete agreements, hopefully within the month. And then we'll be able to start our due diligence building assessments and then the design, development, and planning phases by the end of the year. Our goal is to get a construction contract awarded in the summer of 2026. And for completion of that by fall of 2027. And then our goal at the city end is once construction is complete, we are hoping to get an operator providing childcare services also in the fall of 2027. So it's a very quick construction project, but it is a commitment that the city made to the community decades ago. And it's a commitment that I'm committed to making sure we follow through on because I do think this is a very big need. So our goal is to provide a modern facility designed specifically for children from the get-go so that we can provide quality services at an affordable rate so that your children can grow and thrive in the community they call home and will hopefully be able to call home for many, many more years. So happy to answer any questions or take any suggestions or feedback.
Okay, we'll start with Susan.
Hi, yes, thank you for the presentation. And I agree, there is such a need for reasonable childcare. Thank you. My question was, you were talking about climate change and sustainability. So are there going to be, you know, solar panels and battery backup? Is it going to be a LEED certified for energy efficiency?
Yeah, so I was just looking at LEED certification today. I think, so we have not broke ground on anything yet. I think there's still lots of room and opportunity for exploration. So those are one of the conversations that we'll be having with CCSR. I've also reached out to some state folks in the energy world to see what that might entail and if there are alternative options. So I think right now I'm taking the perspective of the world is our oyster. So I think we want to aim high, but I also want to make sure that we're doing things that are fiscally doable for the operator.
Right, right. Because in the long run, I mean, electricity rates are only going to go up. And of course, you want to keep the keiki comfortable. So I would think in the long run, solar panels and battery storage would be really efficient cost-wise and comfort-wise. And also you talked about sustainability. Is there any room for any sort of garden for growing a little bit of their own food, for learning where food comes from,
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Yeah, so we have, at least in these preliminary specs, 10,000 square feet dedicated to outdoor space, which is more than the indoor space we have, for recognizing that outdoor play and connection to Aina is really important. So we will be taking in feedback and designing the outdoor area, I think, in a way that helps nurture children and allowing for space for things like a garden or interaction with other aspects of nature to benefit kids.
Thank you, Susan.
Mahalo.
Any other questions from Corey?
Just curious, is one of the qualifications that it has to be a nonprofit organization?
Yes.
How many children will be able to go to this?
We are anticipating somewhere between 80 to 100 new slots. It depends on the ages of children and the racial sizes. So at minimum 80,
So you
80
say
children.
80 and you have a 3.5 square foot indoor space. Could fit 80
Yeah,
kids.
that's based on the childcare licensing square footage requirements.
Okay.
I want to follow up on Mitch's question. 3,500 square foot space, 80 to, would you say 80 to 90, 80 to 100? So you can fit that many keiki into
Yeah, it's
35 square feet?
35 square foot per child indoors, 75 square foot per child outdoors. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's 3,500 square feet indoors, 7,500 square feet outdoors.
Okay. Questions from board members online? Seeing none? What? Isaiah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I have a question. First of all, I mean, I think it's a wonderful project. We definitely need more childcare services. I was going to comment on the square footage, but I think that was taken care of already. But I would second that. I think that that might be a little small, but I was questioning more about the tuition for having, your keiki attend. Even if the operator is a nonprofit, they still need to charge to pay their employees, and there's going to be certain operational costs involved. Is the state thinking about any sort of subsidies for it to make it even more affordable for those children who can attend?
Yeah, so I mentioned the preschool open doors subsidies. So the state made some amendments to that program last year, actually. And there will be more changes coming up. So for one example, I think one of the changes that the Department of Human Services is working on is the income eligibility. So right now it's at 300% of the federal poverty limit. But they will be changing it, I think, to about 500. So more middle income families will be eligible for the subsidy once those changes are enacted.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify because, I know that you commented on that, but I just, is it earmarked for this particular build, or is there a surplus of subsidies available within this program, or is special legislation needed?
No special legislation is needed. The facility will need to be licensed through the Department of Human Services. So families who enroll their children that are eligible for the subsidy would be eligible to receive those funds.
So is your question, Isaiah, more if it's automatic, I guess?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I mean, if there's this new subsidy, I mean, there is a program for the subsidy, but you're getting this new program in 2 years. The money is, I don't figure it's available unless there's just a surplus in the coffers to cover that. So I wasn't sure if it was automatic, right? Yeah, automatic, I suppose.
John, to the best of my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, every year Open Doors does not get enough applicants, and there's always openings.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate that. And that was an outstanding presentation, by the way. Thank you. And thank you for coming out. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. From here, I'd actually like to circle back to the resolution that we had earlier. Board Member Gauss had requested the title of the resolution. I did email that to him during the meeting. The title is Urging the State Legislature to Adopt Good Government Reforms. And as I stated, it is a 2-page resolution. We read it in its entirety at a previous board meeting. We had some small, minor, I think, grammatical changes. So all that's left is to actually vote on the resolution. So if we could do a voice vote, I'd appreciate it. Unless anyone is opposed to that. Okay. All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
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 Thank you for turning your cameras on. Appreciate that. All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, the motion passes. Thank you, board members. So quiet in here. Can I get some humming or something in the background, or need some mood music? Okay. And now we've arrived to the point in the agenda where we will do residents and community concerns and community announcements, not just for concerns, but community announcements. My birthday is this month, so that's a community announcement. Okay. Oh, no happy birthday for me. No, thank you. Okay, so with that, we'll open it up. Please, if you want to come up and you can go to the podium, please state your name and whatever it is you would like to present. If no one approaches, I do have someone online, so you can kind of think about it if you want here. So we'll go to online, Jeffrey. Okay, Tara, did you have a question?
Yes, I have my concerns. So I want to express one concern about the board processes and pressing issues affecting our community. I did read the first part of the agenda, and I am limiting testimony to 1 minute from 3, and even that, without engaging in dialogue, makes these meetings feel like a bulletin board rather than a forum for meaningful community input and exchange. Second, the removal of written meeting summaries to just watch video from this point to this point excludes residents who cannot watch hours of video, so denying accessibility and transparency. And we've heard this concern in another meeting too, especially, I don't know if you've seen, but the Hawaiian Elections Commission meeting, that was also, brought up there as well. Third, the Hawaiian Affairs Committee has not convened despite critical cultural issues requiring attention. Fourth, the Marines' inaction on lead contamination from their shooting range, just continues to endanger our ocean, cake, and future generations. So just they're dragging the feet on that. I appreciate, Alex, and their pushing for a resolution and solution. A citizen, by comment and suggestions, Citizen Review Board should really be a part of the military subcommittee, to make sure you can monitor military accountability for environmental contamination and enforce compliance with community standards. Fifth, while we face a water crisis, I see Lisa on Haseko's overdevelopment, including the current construction of the 32 luxury homes and the 1,800 short-term rentals plan, diverts water resources, accelerates fire risks, as we see what's happening right now on the continent, and makes evacuation unsafe due to increased traffic on limited roadways. These parcels could instead prioritize native plants that are fire resistant and culturally significant, ensuring long-term sustainability and safety. And meanwhile, the coconut rhinoceros beetle continues its infestation, continuing to threaten native palms, agriculture, and cultural resources, yet efforts remain insufficient. So that's all my concerns. And, it is disheartening. I had to do it this way, though, to hear after this only silence or just thank you, moving on after sharing pressing concerns. So I really hope and encourage this board to do even more so for its, which may include having town halls. Mahalo.
And Tara, thank you very much. You covered quite a bit of ground there. And as we discussed during earlier sessions, we do appreciate your input. I know you've had some concerns about the limited time in which you have to speak. However, as we discussed, we have to limit the time, and we've had meetings where we've been here, 11, almost midnight sometimes, and that's not pono. But we do appreciate your input. Thank you.
So if you can start the Hawaiian Affairs Committee, that'd be awesome.
We actually did that. I thought we did that. Yeah, Julie. Oh yeah, but she's a representative now, so yeah. But we're coming up for election, so you can always get on the board, Tara. But moving on, any other one in the physical meeting space or online who would like to present a concern or an announcement? I did not. Go ahead, sir. You want me to? Candidate registration is now open for the 2025 Neighborhood Board elections. All current board members of the 23-25 board term will need to register for the new term. That's all of us up here and virtually. Registration and candidate profile forms will not roll over from the previous neighborhood elections. These are important dates. Friday, December 20th, which is already passed, but that's when voter registration began. The next date is probably more important. Friday, February 21st, candidate filing and voter registration deadline. I'll repeat that date, Friday, February 21st, 2025, candidate filing and voter registration deadline. On Friday, April 25th, which is what, 2 months after that, voting begins. And 1 month approximately after that, on a Friday, May 16th, 2025, voting ends. For more information, Google it. There's a link on here, but I'm not reading all that. So, but you can contact the neighborhood commission office at nco@honolulu.gov or call 808-768-3710. Again, 808-768-3710. Thank you, Chair Mitch. Mr. Plowman, you are recognized. I think you're on mute, Mike.
Darn it. Well, I was going to respond to Tara with respect to the Military Affairs Committee. We'd like to have a meeting next month. And I guess I may as well just make this an announcement now. If anybody who would like to be on that committee or just participate, you can please send me an email at Kolea Palms, like the bird in the tree, koleapalms@gmail.com. And we'd like to get things rolling. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mike. Can you drop that email address in the chat section? And Mike brings up a very good point. You can be a member, as a member of the community, you can be on one of the committees. The committees are not meant specifically for board members. So we have several committees, and as the new board is elected in May, as we come on board, there'll be new committees then as well. But we encourage members of the community to actually join us, because it actually acts as a force multiplier. And after all, we're an advisory board. It's not a whole lot we can do, but if we can get you to come talk to the elected officials, it helps us help them to help all of us. Thanks, Mike. Important point there. Any other residents and community concerns and community announcements? Okay, seeing none, moving on to monthly reports, beginning with Hunt Communities Update. Now, your last name's not Hunt, right?
No, it's not.
I know it's not, Tony.
Yeah. Well, first off, good evening, members of the board, members of the community. I'm Tony Gaston with the Hunt Companies. Before I get going, I gotta say Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a great holiday season. Welcome to 2025. And going into 2025, if those of you who haven't driven down FDR recently, I got some good news for you. It took us a long time, but Hawaiian Electric came in and they did something. Woo-hoo! Yeah, look at this. The lights are on. So because the lights are on, we were able to open up all 4 lanes of FDR finally, because now it's safe to travel on. This view you can see is at the intersection. So Costco is in the back corner, but you can see the VA clinic. The roadway going down is Kamakila, and to the left is FDR. Here's another picture from the same location, but look at FDR. You can see all the 4 lanes. And then this is just looking from the other side. So you can see the Gentry Homes on the bottom now. So yes, 4 lanes are open, and Christmas time, they're all open. Now what we need to do is go in there and do some repair work. But because all 4 lanes open, we're only going to be closing 1 lane. That lane is the lane that's closest to the houses right now. So no matter what, there's still going to be travel going in each direction. The only change is now on the Mackay side, there's only 1 eastbound lane, because they're going to start work on Monday. And it'll take them about a month to a month and a half to finish because of the remedial work. But you're still going to be able to travel. So in a month and a half, then it'll go back to 4 lanes again. So it was a lot of good stuff. Now, we're almost done out there. If you guys remember, there's that roadway next to Barbers Point Elementary School that we didn't build yet, because that's what it still looks like. Guess what? We are days away now from the state DOE and the United States DOE finalizing this thing called an abrogation release. If they can finalize that, hey, Hunt can go in there and finish the road. So we're almost there. After we start that work, it'll take about 5 months to complete, but oh gosh, the year's starting off good for it. That's my quick update. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you. Questions from members of the board? Excellent brief, Tony. Seeing none in the physical meeting space? Oh, board members only, Rep. Yeah, I'll get you just a second. Mike Plowman, online?
Hi, thanks. Mr. Gaston, thanks so much for all your updates on this project. I have a request, if you could indulge it, excuse me. Given the prominence of the Hunt Corporation on the island of Oahu, I'm wondering if you might be able to give a quick brief in future months of all the things the Hunt Company owns, does, is developing on the island, such things like Port Island Homes, et cetera. Just a brief rundown of just how prominent Hunt Corporation is on the islands and all the things they do. I think it would be valuable to the community. Thank you.
Sure. No problem. I can give you an overview of everything we do.
Thank you. Excellent question, Mike. Excellent response, Mr. Gaston. Rep.
Thank you. I had one question.
Sure.
I had a complaint at the VA clinic. There was a propane closer to the residential home, and every 2 minutes it's making this loud noise like psst, and all night long it's making that noise. The residents was complaining. They get irritated with that noise. So did anybody address that, or is that there's a small machine outdoors? You know which one I'm talking
Yes,
about?
I know what you're talking about. This is something that the VA clinic is working with directly with Hawaii Gas because they need the propane for operation. So they are aware of the concerns and they are trying to mitigate it somehow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Tara, you're recognized. Please keep it to 1 minute, please.
Yes, and I just want to say this, I want to start the new year without restrictions being placed as soon as I'm coming up to speak. So I just want to know, so it's fair to everybody, because when you're on that target to keep it, it's like the fact that I'm going to even speak, is it even make a difference? I did hear your acknowledgement earlier, but I think I just wanted to say, yes, for Hunt, my question, 30 seconds is, I believe Mike, his question to you was, could you give an update? And I believe that he meant now.
No, he didn't. I'm sorry.
So, Tara, actually, Mike did mention sometime in the future, was actually what he stated in this question.
And I will come back with an update.
Anything else, Tara, before your minute's up?
I will state that, no, I'll wait. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Gentry Homes.
Okay, before I go, I just got one thing to say.
Yes, sir, Tony.
I remember when the bus, I could get on for 10 cents. 10 cents, right? Get on, go down Alma Bay, come back. That was the good old days.
Oh no, Tony. Don't do yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate it. Gentry Homes.
Yes.
Sir.
Hi, all.
Aloha.
Yes. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Awesome. Thank you. Sunny Rosario with Gentry Homes. And maybe I'm also dating myself if I say my first time with the bus was with the Holo card. So I do use it. It is very helpful. You do get your bang for your buck with the card. And I do also vote for using it with the tap. It's other cities have it and it's great. But maybe that's just a young Gen Z problem. But we're also starting off the new year, Gentry Homes, with some positive news as well. I'm not sure if any of you recall Holomua Schools. This is kind of earlier on in our development in the EVA side. We had an agreement that was slowly being worked on, but we have positive news. We've officially conveyed the 6-acre parcel to USTA for their proposed tennis facility a few weeks ago, and we're still working with the DOE to convey the other 5 acres for the expansion of Holomua School. So that's that's my quick update for this month. Open to any questions.
Any questions from members of the board? Seeing none in the physical space, any questions from members of the board online? No? Okay, thank you. Excellent report. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Seiko Homes update.
Hi, everybody. So good evening, Chair and board members. My name is Lisa Inonori, and I'm here representing Haseko. I actually don't have anything prepared for you today. I've been mainly out of the office since September, but I am here to answer any questions. So I'm back. Happy New Year, everybody.
Any questions from members of the board? Mitch.
Congratulations, mommy.
Thank you.
Any questions from other board members in the meeting space? No? Questions from members of the board online? I have one question. Can you give a brief overview of the proposal regarding the 842 housing units that have been in discussion at the city council?
So the 842 housing units actually have always been there. So that was the mid-rise area that we had briefed about in many, many coffee hours in various neighborhood board meetings. The one thing that we did do at city council is we asked that that parcel be treated like the other parcels. So Waikiki, Ko'olina, and Turtle Bay, any A2 land that is adjacent to resort is able, well, the homeowners there are able to go through the official process with the state to become a official transient accommodation unit. So Bill 64 did pass, and if you guys want, I can do a presentation at the next meeting.
Actually, that would be good. However, I take issue with you saying that and maybe you did do a presentation at other neighborhood boards, but at this particular neighborhood board, I consistently and repeatedly requested updates, and we never received one regarding those 842 units. I understand the change.
Correct. The change
so-
happened mainly when I was out, but we did do an overhaul meeting at neighborhood board a few times over the many years that we've been working on this project. And that included the mid-rise. We always said the mid-rise, it is going to be 60 feet, but we didn't have anything like any design or things like that. So we talked about the resort, the mid-rise, the lagoon, all those other things.
Yes, I understand that. And that's the point that I'm kind of getting at, is that those 842 parcels, and even though I understand you're saying the change happened while you were out, it is a significant change. Even though I get what you're saying, it's to place it, so to speak, in alignment with the other kind of touristy areas like Waikiki, Turtle Bay, things like that. But that is a significant change, which should have been briefed specifically at this neighborhood board. I bring that up because I've had several residents reach out to me to ask if I knew about it. And I tend to be a pretty engaged member of the community, whether it involves Haseko, the schools, or other things going on. So I think a lot of members of the community were just kind of shocked by it. So in the future, I would like to see a more thorough update from Haseko Homes. As long as I'm on this board, that's what I intend to ask for. And that's what I would expect from a company that considers itself a partner in the community. Many of the people in the community, let me finish. Many people in the community feel as though that the developers are not held accountable in a lot of things that they do. I know the developers do a lot in the background. I know that. I've seen specifically the developer for whom you work do quite a bit in the community. So, and we appreciate that. But this is an advisory board that's meant specifically to present things to the community so that they can ask questions on any major changes. And that was a major change. So thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tara, you are recognized.
Mahalo. So Lisa, I do have questions for you. Number one, can you answer these? How does HASECO justify constructing 32 luxury beachfront homes, planning your 842 short-term rental units during a severe water crisis on Oahu? What measures do you all take to ensure your developments do not divert water resources away from local residents and exacerbate their current crisis? 2, given the growing fire risk due to reduced native plant cover and overdevelopment, what plans does HASECO have to mitigate these risks, right? How do you, HASECO, plan to address evacuation concerns for residents in light of increased traffic congestions? How do you reconcile building luxury beachfront homes when houselessness continues to increase along the same shoreline, right behind those luxury homes? What steps are you taking to contribute to affordable housing solutions for local residents? How do you ensure that the developments do not disturb or continue to disturb Ibi Kupuna or culturally significant sites where documented desecrations have occurred? And what steps do you take to address concerns about impacts on marine ecosystems and limo beds? And there are more, but I see the chair grabbing his mic. Finally, what commitments will you, HASECO, make to ensure that developments do not contribute to rising property values and rents, which are displacing local families, knowing that homeowner insurance costs are rising, electricity is rising, sewer is rising, water is rising, there's going to be a storm drain fee increase as well? And how do you address long-term environmental impacts into wastewater, increased wastewater?
Thank you, Tara. Thank you.
And everything, yeah.
Lisa,
Can you answer that, Lisa?
Floor is yours.
Hi, sorry. So 1 second while I was trying to type up the questions as you're going. So one, the units that we're actually selling right now have always been presented as our total count. And we've been developing this area for many, many years. I think we purchased the actual property back in the 1980s and did our first unit in late 1990s. It's just taking us this long to get to this area. As for affordable homes, we did have affordable homes that were part of our requirement, and we did that right from the get-go. So we've actually completed all of our affordable home units. Sorry, let me go through some of these evacuation concerns. We do work with all of the city and state agencies to plan our roadways appropriately for the project. The significant cultural monitoring, we actually have an archaeologist monitor on site, Kim Kalama, who actually monitors our preservation sites also. Sorry, you may hear the baby in the background. And the other questions, I don't know if I can fully answer how I would not contribute to property cost values rising. That's a very complicated topic that I don't think I can cover in this short update. And did I miss anything else there?
Water.
Yes.
Water crisis.
Okay, what? Thank you. Sorry. So the water crisis, we do work with the Board of Water Supply to get all of our permits approved and our plans reviewed. Sorry, hopefully I got everything on there.
Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate your time and the update. Thank you, Tara. Seeing no other questions, moving on to DR Horton Ho'opili update. Anyone from DR Horton online or in the meeting room? Seeing none, moving on to government officials. We'll start out with United States Marine Corps Base Hawaii Duty Officer. Seeing none present, we'll move on to United States Navy.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Sorry, you have to put up with it one time.
Got to bend your knees like you're on a ship.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity to speak. On a quick update, not a lot of news over the holidays, except for our hearts go out to the families that were affected with all the tragedy that's going on right now in the world. And we read, and we can't begin to believe or even understand how families can suffer that hard. But we're praying for them, as we always do. The good news is we've got the Hokulea is coming into Pearl Harbor on January the 18th. That's a Saturday away. So one more Saturday, and you get to see your sailing canoe come into Pearl Harbor. They're at the Rainbow Bay. I'll pass you details. The last time it was here was a couple of years ago. It's a great opportunity for your students, for kids to get out, for families in the afternoon, kids during the day. It's a really big deal. We're very excited about that. Another ship that just sailed in on Christmas Eve was the USS Montana, brand new Virginia-class attack submarine, home ported here in Pearl Harbor, brand new. And we're really happy to welcome those folks into the Ohana here. As far as Navy Closure Task Force, nothing but great news there. We just started pressure washing just Monday. Pressure washing tank 7, tank 8 is next to follow. Tank 5 and 6 are still being the infrastructure. That scaffolding and the ladders are still being tested for the weight that they need to bear. But the pressure washing itself will take about 3 months per tank. So we're very excited about that because this is one more stage towards the successful decommissioning of these tanks. Not decommissioned, they're decommissioned now, but we're going to close them and lock them up. So we're very happy about that. The water info booth is still going around. Capilina Night Market is one of the easy ones to get to there at Iroquois Point. That's going to be on the 29th of January. And then in February, they start shifting that night market info booth to the first part of the month. They're trying to shift it up around a little bit to catch different audiences. They're also at the Hickam Exchange, and they go to the Navy Exchange quite often, usually once a week, twice a week, they're somewhere. Our website has all the updates. Our app, if you don't have the app on your phone, you need to get the app on the phone because you can see a minute by minute, day by day update on where we are with the tanks. And I encourage everybody to get in there. We had a very good open house, very good turnout in November the 14th. We didn't expect a lot of people because of the holidays coming up, but we did have a good turnout. And our next quarterly right now is tentatively planned for 12 March back over at Kehe'i Lagoon. We're going to be in the Los Banos room around the corner there. So please join us. With that, I'll stand by for any questions.
With 22 seconds left to spare, any questions from members of the board?
Yes, very quickly. Will the Navy be attending the CRI meeting in February?
I'm not sure, Susan, but once I do know, I'll reach out to you. How's that? Yeah, we'd love to. We really look forward to the opportunity to speak to the public in a manner of ways, and we're hoping to get back to that table. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Duna. Mike, you have a question online?
I do. Thank you, sir. I know it's not all you. You're a bit of a newer face around here. I'm Mike Plowman. Very disappointed that there is currently a public comment window open on a major environmental impact statement from the U.S. Navy with public meetings planned for just a handful of days. And now we're at about, by my count, somewhere around 7 or 8 environmental assessments or environmental impact statements that have not been announced at the Evan Neighborhood Board meeting that concern us. And I would ask you directly that anytime there's a need for action, that you guys please let the public at these meetings know. And so would you like to discuss the public meetings coming up?
Actually, I was just going to. I didn't mean to admit it. I have it right here. 15 January at Kehe'i Lagoon over in the Weinberg Hall, which is the main hall right there on the right. 15th of January. Please come out and see the Navy there. This is not a Navy Closure Task Force issue. This is a U.S. Navy thing, but I plan to be there. And it's going from 4 to 7 p.m. The open house, of course, it's free and open to the public. Plenty of parking there, but there is an official presentation at 1700 at 5 p.m. So the open house starts at 4, it ends at 7, but the real presentation where you're going to get the meat of the information will be at 5 p.m. Does that help, sir?
Could you please state the purpose?
This is the environmental impact statement for it's the NEPA requirement for the Navy announces the availability of the Hawaii, California training. So this is the training ground environmental impact statement, which doesn't change any of the Navy and the Marine Corps areas. There's no enlargement of the areas, but there is an increase in frequency planned. That's the way I understand. This increase in the operational tempo is what they're probably going to be answering on the environmental impact statement. Most of the growth is in Southern California.
Right. And it addresses using explosives and active sonar on marine mammals. Thank you.
Yes, sir, it will.
Thank you, Mike. Tara?
Yes, aloha. I was at the Navy open house on November.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was very disconcerting to see that from a poster board that the Navy will be here beyond 2031, according to the closure plans, until they're quote unquote finished cleaning up and then they'll close. And that it's separate from the land lease, which is up in 2029. So again, that was very disconcerting, and I wanted to ask for more questions, but the Williams, ended up leaving. Yeah, and so I know what you're talking about, which is gonna be next week, Wednesday, the 15th, from 4 to 6 at Keehi. Next day, the 16th, where you'll be in Kauai. The following week on November 22nd, you have the Zoom online version. And then
Yes.
please, everybody there, the testimonies and comments will be due by February 11th. Now, you do need to read it because I do not want an EIS written and things passed through, regardless of the thousands of comments that are already in opposition from when we first got word of this, because it says in there that'll be, like you said, increasing the frequency of torpedo practice between Hawaii and California, which will impact the marine mammals, which were affecting our water. We cannot fish right now. in
Thank you,
Pu'u
Tara.
Loa. Yeah, and
Thank you.
so can you answer
Thank you, Tara.
that?
Yeah, the only thing I know was the Zoom call. I'll pass you the details of the Zoom call. I don't have them with me here, but I do have, again, the 15th of January from 4 to 7 PM at 5 o'clock is the presentation that's going to be given.
But there's probably a website where someone can go to. to get
Yes,
this
there is.
information.
And I'll pass you that as well, Chair.
Okay. Okay. So Mike, thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, Mike, thank you.
We'll wrap this up with Alex. Alex, you have a question?
Yeah, appreciate it. And thanks for the presentation as well. I just wanted to follow up. If I'm not mistaken, that is, I just want to specifically state for the community members listening and all that environmental impact assessment, I believe that's what it is actually could potentially mean, I think it's like 20 to 30% increase in the shooting at Pu'uloa firing range. So I just want community members to be aware of that as we're trying to talk about relocating the range and talk about all the negative impacts that it has on the community. There's actually a plan now to expand training there in the near future. And so that should resonate with a lot of people that attend these meetings and that live in the community. And I do encourage participation and comments on that as well.
Yes, sir. I don't have the.
And thank you, Mike, for doing that.
Yeah, I don't have the information on the Pu'uloa, but I will reach out. I know the Marine Corps has that information, but I'll reach out. And if I can't find something, I'll pass it to you.
Were you speaking of the EIS, the Pu'uloa under the umbrella of the EIS, Alex?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And I believe that's what it is. Mike, I know he's more familiar because we had a discussion about it one time. So I hope I'm not quoting the wrong one.
Yeah.
No, I
don't. The one that I read would talk about the area from here to like Monterey Bay, California, and just north of San Diego, I believe, somewhere around that area.
The Pu'uloa is not mentioned in this one, but there is probably another one out there. I'm sure there is, Mr. Plowman.
My apologies if that's the case. I apologize.
No worries.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Duna. Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Moving on to United States Army duty officer in the room, online. Seeing none. Okay. Moving on to U.S. Representative Ed Case, quarterly report. Is Mr. Nister online? Seeing none. Moving on to the mayor's rep. Okay. I do have the Jeffrey, our trusted assistant here, let me know that I do have the mayor's. They usually go into details when they come to the meetings. The mayor's rep, they answer questions and do follow up from previous months' meetings. But we have the memo here since they're not here. So we're going to read some of the highlights. This month's highlights from the mayor's newsletter include city lifeguards and firefighters brave massive waves to compete in the Eddy. We all saw that. The city and county of Honolulu announces a new landfill site on Oahu. We all saw that. I'm sorry. I'll leave off the commentary. Mayor Blangiardi honored several council members. Calvin Say, who is retiring after nearly 5 decades of public service. The 40th Honolulu City Lights celebration wrapped up and thousands of people enjoyed the displays. And the city won a $2 million grant for affordable housing in Iwilei. The January 2025 edition of the Mayor's Newsletter can be found online at www.honolulu.gov/mayor/newsletter. Okay, moving on to Councilmember District 1, Councilmember Andrea Tupola.
Good evening. Kika Supeni here online. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we hear you clearly.
Perfect. I just want to introduce myself for those who don't know me. I'm Kika Supeni. I'm Councilmember Tupola's Community Case Manager. We actually have another person who works alongside me. Her name is Jeannie Timoteo. We both will be working in the community for council members, so we'll be tag teaming at all neighborhood boards. We'll be in person and online. Either one of us will be there. But we just want to share and report. The board should have got an email of the opposition to the sewer raises from council member, and her statement, actually, it was her statement that she had written, and then also a flyer stating QR codes. This is for community and board members to have access to any budget requests that you folks have. You guys can go ahead and fill that out. Any events that you need council member to attend, and also any meetings that you guys need to schedule with her directly. We also have Council District 1 email that Jeannie and myself will be monitoring. It is open for the board and also the community to contact us directly. So it'll flow there smoothly and we can get everyone's concerns and questions quickly in a timely manner. And I am open for questions.
Any questions from members of the board? Seeing none in the physical meeting space. Any questions from members online, board members? Seeing none. Questions from members of the community? And in the physical meeting space, any online? I would just, seeing no questions, I just have one quick one. I'm going to follow up the conversation that I had with the developers rep earlier. The council member was a big part of that change. She was the one that sponsored the change in Bill 64? I would hope that she would endeavor to inform the community of changes like that. Again, I'm at most of these meetings. I never heard a presentation on that. So if we're going to expect our developers to inform the community, I would definitely expect our elected officials to inform the community.
Sounds good. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Aloha. Moving on to Council Member Augie Topa, District 9.
Aloha, Mr. Chairman, board members. Aaron Michael Ho here from the Office of Councilmember Augie Topa. The council members' monthly report, I distributed it earlier, and there are additional copies of the back table for your convenience. For those attending the meeting online tonight, you can digital versions can be found on our website at augietopahnl.com. For those of you with the printed bulletin, if you could turn to the insert that's in there, you will find information about the new committee assignments and the committee schedule for the newly inaugurated council. You will notice that Councilmember Topa is no longer the chairperson for the Committee on Parks. Sorry, Alex and John. I'm happy to report, however, that he is excited to be stepping into a new role as the chairperson on the Committee on Innovation, Technology, and Entertainment. This new committee will meet on the Thursday of committee week and has the 2:30 p.m. time slot. I believe that's next week. I could be very wrong about that, sorry. If you flip to the back of the insert, you'll find information on our first volunteer opportunity for 2025. As we reported multiple times toward the ending of last year, we're focusing this month on graffiti. in the area in Waipahu and Eva. So on Friday, next Friday, January 17th at 3 p.m., we'll be holding our Tag Your Out graffiti paint out event. If you can please come join us at Eva Mexico District Park or at Waipahu District Park if you're out there, and help us make a fresh and clean start this year. Councilmember also wanted me to mention that, as always, he is available should you desire to meet privately about your concerns or your city issues. To schedule, please reach out to us, 768-5009 or at atalba@honolulu.gov. And I'll conclude there. And I'll be happy to take back any questions.
Awesome. Any questions from members of the board? Seeing none in the physical space. Any questions from members of the board online? Seeing none. Any questions from members of the community? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate the succinct report. Oh, wait, sorry. Chair Tan, Mr. Tan, I keep calling you Chair.
No, I just wanted to bring up the Bill 64 that came out because it's kind of going in my mind. If you guys followed what Bill 64 was prior, it used to be Bill 10 and then it kind of morphed into Bill 64. It's a bunch of different bills that got put together, and it's like for windmills, it's for housing, it's for agriculture, it's a multitude of different things that people was testifying. We were there testifying. When I went up to testify, it was for the ag side, for the bees, and DPP tried to change a lot of stuff. And from Bill 10 to Bill 64, this bill has, I think, changed for the last 2, 3, 4 years. They just keep on going. And we didn't, as in the bee community, they didn't want. I mean, they were putting restrictions and on pretty much everything. And I was testifying for that, and I think Haseko, just to speak on behalf of Haseko, they went in there I think, when they put restrictions on what they were doing, those restrictions were never there. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but they just went in there to make it the same as what they were saying as Turtle Bay, Ko'olina, and everybody else, to keep it the same. I think that's what they went over there testifying for, but correct me if I'm wrong on it. But I wanted to thank the council members for also voting for Bill 64 on the ag stuff and cutting all that stuff down as well. So
I'll take that back. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mitch. Moving on to Board of Water Supply. Is there a rep online? Nope, seeing none. Okay. Moving on to Department of Education. Nope. I'm shocked. Moving on to Governor Josh Green, representative.
Hi, I'm here. I have no reports tonight, but I will leave my email in the chat if anybody has any questions or anything that I can pass along. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for the governor's rep before she leaves? Tara.
Aloha. Yes, I do have concerns. As citizens, we contact through the online form to either speak with or receive a request regarding our concerns. And again, we only get the response back that, I'm sorry, due to the overwhelming number of requests, we cannot assist you at this time. So just to submit your concerns, and that's it. So again, this came from the Aina Haina Neighborhood Board that they wanted to meet to deliver, and the resolution regarding opposition to the ocean wind turbines. There were other requests from other community members regarding other very important issues, and that's the request we are receiving as citizens who are trying to meet with the governor in person or receive a direct reply. So can you address this? And it was brought up at the Aina Haina and the Kuleo'o, like the board meetings regarding this. It was asked of the governor's rep at those neighborhood board meetings, and we never got a response back.
I will.
Thank you, Tara.
Yep, I will put my email in the chat, and you can email me the concern, and I will pass it along to the proper person. I don't know what the issue was or what it's concerning, but I will make sure it gets to the right person. So I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you, Tara and Tara. Mitch? Yeah.
Yeah, so in the Eva, you were saying Anaheim, they had an issue with the wind turbines in the ocean there. It's because they moved from outside Waikiki and Barbers Point and also outside Waianae, going towards Kauai to now outside between in the Kaiwi Channel between Molokai and here. That's where they kind of like trying to have the development out that side. Now that's why Kuli'o, why Manalo and Ainahaina is talking about those wind turbines out in the ocean on that side. They came here when they were going to put it out and give a presentation, so we could because we could see it, but now it's out that side and now they can see it. So yeah, the senator probably can talk more about that.
Thank you, Mitch.
Chair, the reason why they had scrapped their beautiful plan to Aguilar Ocean is because the Department of Defense and the military didn't allow it from Waianae, Ewa Beach to Waikiki because of the boats. What happened was, and Tara, you can do this instead of trying to talk to Josh Green, because really he has no power for that. Just being truthful, you got to talk to the DOD. The Department of Defense had lessened the number of, like how it's maybe supposed to be 10, they lessened it to 7, 3, so that they could build these turbines in the Kaiwi Channel. If the DOD did not lessen their safety or their alert, they was not going to be able to build it. So people that made the deal is the turbine guys in the Department of Defense. So if you need to talk to anybody, you should talk to our delegates and ask our delegates to go and talk to the DOD to put back the safety provisions that it is for the Kaiwi Channel, because all we need is to have somebody do something to our military bases because we lessen the defense.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Senator.
Chair.
Appreciate it. Moving on to, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Plowman, you have a question or concern?
Very quickly, same question I had last meeting. The reports of a completely new first responder type campus being imagined at another location after we already went through all of the planning phases up in Mililani. I'm still wondering why we find ourselves in that position. Thank you.
I will follow up with that. I did send in a memo to the person that would have the answer, and I did not hear back, but let me circle back to them and see if I can't get you a better answer.
Okay, thanks very much.
And how do you pronounce your last name? Caravici?
Castro Vinci. So
Castro Vinci.
Castro Vinci, yeah.
Castro Vinci. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Aloha. Moving on to Department of Transportation quarterly report. See no one? Okay. Moving on to Senate District 19, Senator Henry Aquino.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Okay. Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, Nathaniel Ise, Representative Aquino this evening. I emailed the reports this afternoon, and I believe you got it. If you did, please let me know. But also, if you do have any concerns, you can always email the office as well. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for the office of Senator Aquino? Seeing none? Okay. Moving on to Senate District 20, Senator Kurt Favela. I don't think he's in here. Oh, there you are, Senator. There you are. Aloha.
Aloha. Happy New Year to everybody. Just a little highlights. I gave you guys some of the stuff that is online on what happened in from November. I want to thank Uncle George T. Parrish and Foundation for donating about 100 zip packs for our less fortunate people, not just our houseless individual, but he gave enough that I could go to some seniors and some senior different conditions that I could actually take to them too. So that was kind of nice of him donating it and adding Ewa Beach into his donations of giving out meals for Thanksgiving in November. And then I want to thank everybody that participated in another successful Ewa Beach Lions Club Christmas Parade.
It's the Lions Club Parade, and it's been happening many years, and it's been very successful. And then we also had the Lions Club Christmas party. I want to thank all the ROTC, all the Campbell High School kids that came out and made it a success, especially our friends out in Waianae that came out and helped and volunteer. And then some of the things that is really important coming up, we had our family work caucus. And one of the highlights that I'm pushing for is to eliminate the tip penalties so that when a server works at Zippy's, that they will get the minimum wage. And then we're trying to do not having them pay taxes on their tips because we pay the taxes, something that our new president is talking about doing. So hopefully he gets that done on the federal side and not charging them for pay taxes. Because you guys know, if you don't tip, the waitress still got to pay on that bill. She has to pay. It is automatic on there. So if you're supposed to give her $5 and you give her nothing, she still have to claim that for taxes, no matter what. And I talked to some of the servers at Zippy's and they say sometimes they don't even have a check because they calculate their receipts to say that. So I would want some support on that, would be good. And then I know you guys talked about the landfill. We're in total opposition to the landfill. I think there's better and newer technology that we need to entertain, not only, hydro turbines in water, which we have a lot of water that can generate electricity and with the waste to energy plan, same thing. We need firm energy, but they're going around the merry-go-round and try to do this. So they try to take away Act 73. That's the whole pressure. They want the legislators to change Act 73 on the boundaries, and we're not. Because the main place that they're gonna put it, guys, is gonna be in Makakilo, Great Pacific Crater. That's the reason why they want to change it. They're not saying it's not on their map, it's not under consideration, but if they amend that rule, the one that the legislation had put in, they definitely will bring it out into Makakilo, into that crater area. And the rest of the stuff that, I cannot say any questions. I'm good for questions.
Thank you, Senator. Any questions from members of the board in the physical meeting space? Yeah, go ahead, Mitch.
So for the people or the community members that don't know where they want to put the landfill, where's the place, Senator?
Amron Crater. No, I'm only joking. They don't even have a spot that is feasible. That's not going to be over an aquifer. You guys got to understand the aquifer that they're talking about, regardless if everybody in this room dies, yeah, our kids and our grandkids is going to suffer. The bottled water supply made their stand and they said the same thing. But what a lot of people don't know, and I'm going to share this with you guys, right now, DOE is transferring water wells to the state. If this landfill go, it's going to jeopardize the state taking over the water wells from DOE, because in the future, those wells could be contaminated and the state is not going to take responsibility of those water wells. Yeah. Yeah, just to highlight, just before I leave, I keep forgetting to let you guys know, and John, you've been on this, and most of you board members. So they're going to start the next phase of Campbell High School's athletic field. The money already was secured back in 2020, 2018. Now they're just waiting for the next phase. Reason why we didn't get any CIPs, not enough CIPs in the last go around is because they was worrying about the money lapsing. So the DOE gave me the word that the 37 million that we got, they're going to use it for finishing up the next phase of the locker rooms, bleachers, meeting rooms, everything that you can think of that we should have had many, many years ago. They're going to be putting it in. And sad to say, they're going to be taking away part of Ilima's basketball court. So we're putting in funding to add in a basketball court and rec area for them. But yeah, thank you guys all for the support.
I got a quick question, as does Corey. Thank you for that addendum report. As you know, I've been education chair since I got on this board
Yes.
10 years ago. So I know the lights was part of that second phase, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean we're going to have
New lights.
Friday night lights again?
So what's happening is the reason why they didn't temporarily fix it, of course, that was an excuse, but anyway,
Yeah.
they didn't temporarily fix it because they knew that side, the Ilima side, where most of the lights wasn't working, they're going to redo all of that. But even like with the scoreboard, John, and you notice our scoreboard was new many times and wasn't working. And you guys know why it wasn't working? I told the developer and the contractor, why don't you dig up the wires? And guess why? The wires was all rotten.
Corroded.
So every time they paid for a new scoreboard, wasn't working because it wasn't the scoreboard, it was the wiring.
Yeah.
So when they did the track and they got everything done, they fixed all the wires in that area, but they didn't do nothing with the poles. So they're gonna be doing the site that is the home site first. They're not gonna do the other side. That's gonna be 2 more phases to get the other side done. So
So-
they're gonna do one side first.
But this upcoming season, will we have Friday Night Lights?
No, we're not gonna even have games.
So you
Looking for
led
about-
with the good news, Senator. You're supposed to put the bad news first.
No, the good news is still can practice on the field. The band, players, still can use the field. We're just not gonna have games.
Okay, so, and I'm breaking my own here, but I have another follow-up question, and it's related to this again, for the community.
Yes.
So this is important. Not that the other stuff wasn't. What are we doing to ensure the money doesn't lapse again? Because I was livid when I found out that almost $500 million lapsed, and the excuse, and we'll call it excuse, not a reason, was that they didn't think they could get the money spent. But, you know,
And I think that was just a big misled. It's a political thing that they did to the previous person that was handling facilities. I just gonna be straight. He had everything. He always told us the money wasn't gonna lapse. But they found a way to get rid of him, to get somebody else in his position. And that's the true fact. Our money was never in jeopardy. I stay on these projects from day one since we got CIPs, since I got into the square building. Those guys know me already. I always call them all the time. And this time, John, happy to say, they didn't call me first to let me know that the construction was gonna start this month.
okay, yeah, Mitch.
I just talked to the AD, Roria, and he said that they're waiting on they never have on pre-con yet because they're waiting on permits.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm announcing. They're
Oh.
gonna have it already this month.
All right.
Everything is in already. That was they was waiting for. So they're gonna start the construction, what you just said, and they're gonna start construction by the end of the month.
Okay, I'm sorry, Corey. I should have got you before Mitch. Mitch cut in there, so.
So first, I'm actually hearing of it. Could you explain to me what's going to be happening? What's going to be the new bleachers and what is going to be included with the locker rooms?
Yeah, so we're gonna have a training room, we're gonna have meeting rooms, we're gonna have both sides, boys and girls. You know, the locker rooms, you know, gotta be, gotta take care of our girls' sports. So yeah, all of that's gonna be in there, meeting rooms and all that, and they're making sure that they're gonna finish that site. The sad part about it is, the way how the money you're talking about, we couldn't use all the money for this project. We had to use whatever we had because of the lapsing. So we never get to get our concession and the visitor site and lights and
Are we
bleachers.
still getting that though, the concession?
Yeah, we're gonna get all of that.
So the
It's
phase-
it's in the phasing. That's what I put in for the CIPs on the phasing.
But is it going to be like a concrete bleachers? How many seats? I mean,
Yeah, so they were, that's what I work with Worry them, so that I'm gonna have them come, the DOE come and do a presentation on how the design gonna look. Because the design changed here and there because of the funding and the time. So they had come up with a plan that they can use this money if they just use the money for this portion. If they're gonna try to do the whole stadium, then it would take too long and the money would elapse. So they needed to.
Parse it out.
Yeah, to break it up.
As I wrap this up, Senator, I'd like to just kind of make the statement and you'll know this. So Corey, you weren't on the board. I think you were the teachers union president time. Even before that, I don't think I'm overstating it when I say that effort and all that money originated at this neighborhood board meeting. You know, we did a lot of presentations. We had the students come up here. And there's a lot of other stuff that went on behind the scenes. We had the governor's rep. The governor came to Campbell because his wife went to Campbell, right?
Yep.
But a lot of those discussions happened here with all those presentations with Guy Leopard. Remember all that?
Not only that, when the kids came and talk about shishing in the bushes and
Yes.
changing in the
Yeah.
bushes and not
And-
having places to put their equipment.
And
And then we found the gender equity funding for the softball field, which was great for them. The money was there, but nobody ever did ask to have the money released. So the previous leadership that was in leadership never asked the governor. So I sat down with governor and I told him that I see that we have money for gender equity. We didn't get to do it the way we wanted it, but we just got it done because we needed something for our girls, which the boys had benefit too on the field, but at least they have a restroom, they have an area that they can hold the equipment. So those things at least is a win for us.
So I really wanted to share that. That's one of the reasons why the neighborhood board is so important, is that this is where residents bring your concerns, elected officials are here, and it affects our community in a significant way.
And that's how we got our air conditioners, right, Corey?
That's right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
I know you're a big facilitator of the repaving study.
Yes.
Kila High and-
Yes.
When are they gonna finish with the striping and the
So
replacing the reflectors?
right now that they're coming up with the reason why I guess they're not finishing and they're not doing that is because they're still finalizing the different materials that they use. And now I'm hearing that we're gonna start using the H-Power ash to be added to the asphalt too. So one thing I can give Ed Sniffen credit with all his engineers or whatever you like call them. They're thinking of better innovation ways so that our asphalt lasts long. Every time we pave, you see grass growing through them, you see all that kind of stuff. So the way they're making them now, so that it's going to prevent any kind of cracking or any kind of intruding of grass or weeds. So, I can, if you like, I can get you information and I can make sure I will let Ed know and Ed can let me know the timeline. Yeah, just so we brought up a transportation. So Hanakahi, Kuhina is going to be getting sometime this fiscal year. I'm going to have the city come out, John, talk to you guys on their putting in the speed tables by your dad's house too, or your family's house over there. So they're bringing in more of the speed tables. The main one they're going to put on Hanakai is I think by Kawiki Street area where the bus stay. So one of them is definitely going there. But Kuhina been asking for it, and you guys know a long time. So I think they're going to do Kuhina. So I think they're going to do Hanakahi first, Kuhina, and then I think by your dad's house. But I want to ask them to come out and give the presentation because they emailed that to me, but they never came back and talked to you guys about that. Which Mitchell wanted to know because a person died, right? Well, two people died over there by his family's house.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Okay.
We have one more question from you, Senator, from Tara.
no, Yeah, so
Tara,
Kurt-
you recognize, please keep it to 60 seconds, Tara.
So Kurt, I just want to say, yeah, mahalo for that, to stand strong, to hold Act 73. As we heard, Bill Waters, Board of Supply said no for any landfill above the aquifer. And I want to ask if you have a ability to, have them revisit military land because they're saying no because we need it for training. If they're already contaminating the land with training, we see the effects of it here in Ewa at the Pu'uloa Beach, then they can definitely use that land that is not above over an aquifer. Because again, they're already contaminating it through their training. So I wanted to give that thought out to you. Mahalo.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you my number. I think you still have my number, but I didn't hear the first part. But I'll be happy to facilitate, like anything else, that you guys asked me to. So if you can, you just call me at 808-864-4634, and we can talk on the phone. I'm pretty sure you have my number though. Okay.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Chair.
Appreciate it. Wait, one more comment from a board member. Alex?
Yeah, hey Senator, appreciate it. I just had I was going to ask the Department of Transportation, but they weren't present, and you're always really familiar with a lot of the transportation stuff. So I was just wondering, and following up on the community members' question, is do you know anything about the timeline for the sewer repair they're doing there on Fort Weaver?
So far as I know, the last time when I inquired, they didn't have the parts. That was the stall. Wasn't the construction company was milking that job but because they was waiting for a part for the main piping in that one area. And the sad part about it is that I told Cully Watson this too because of the Hawaiian homes want to build homes there. So infrastructure, not only the big ugly homes that they want to make on Puakapuna, but our infrastructure are old. You got to think about it. Look how long they're taking to get the parts. It's not like they can just call Amazon and China go ship them over. You know what I mean? It's hard to get the parts. So definitely, if I give a timeline, I'll reach out to you or I'll let John know. I send an email to him and let you guys know exactly when they're going to finish that sewer line.
I guess I was being optimistic and hoping they were upgrading it all with newer stuff, man.
Yeah, so that's what I thought too, and that's what they told me, no, they're waiting for parts.
Thank you, Senator. Wait, apparently,
Sorry,
Board Member Mitch.
I heard
forgetting-
Department of Transportation, this went in my mind. Fort Weaver Road between Colowaka and going towards Geiger. Left lane, you know, the trees, the roots that popping up.
Yeah,
Always thinking somebody gonna hit that and or a bike or whatever.
yes.
Okay, I just
So that's why I had a bill to remove big trees on main fairways, especially like that, because of what you just said. Now, if there's a natural disaster and those trees fall, where we gonna go? Kapolei Parkway, Fort Weaver Road, down. So I had on bill, of course, the tree huggers was upset, so the bill never go anywhere. But I wasn't saying to kill it, I just said to relocate it, because it's in an area that is causing more harm than good. You guys know those trees don't give out oxygen, right? The bushes and shrubs give out more oxygen than those trees. Long time ago, and I can say the governor's name and the mayor's name that brought in those trees, thought it was beautiful for the parks, but it's only rubbish. It causes more problems.
All right.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate it. Moving on to Senator Mike Gabbard, District 21. Does he have a rep online?
Yes, right here. Aloha Chair Clark, Vice
Aloha.
Chair Gauss. Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Perfect. And honorable board and community members, I'm Melanie June, Senator Gabbard's community liaison and legislative assistant. The senator sends his best wishes to you and your ohana and invites you to read his most recent newsletter. I'll drop that link in the chat. It highlights on January 2nd, Senator Gabbard visited Kalailoa Airport and Kalailoa Harbor to learn about ongoing projects and future plans. These efforts are key to improving transportation and boosting our local economy. Also, recently, Senator Gabbard met with Popoki Place to discuss their plans for a cat sanctuary. He's very committed to helping them secure land to tackle Hawaii's stray cat problem. And if you have any questions or concerns, or there's anything we can assist with, please reach out to our office. And with that, I'll be happy to take any questions or concerns back to the senator.
Thank you. Any questions for the rep for Senator Gabbard? Seeing none in the physical meeting space, any in the virtual space? Okay, thank you. Moving on to Representative District 39, Elijah Pierrick. Seeing none, moving on to Representative District 40, Representative Julie Reyes Oda.
Thank you for having me. I want to introduce two of my staff here in attendance. That's Holly and Haunani in the back. So that's just two of them who is sitting here dedicated to hang until 10 o'clock if need be. Let me give you a sample of a couple of bills and a resolution that I'm putting in this session. One of them is amending the state sunshine law to allow more discussion at neighborhood boards in support of a neighborhood commission resolution. Second one, for one piece of the CIP or the capital improvement funds that I want to support is this library, because it is in District 40. I believe it's excluding the schools, it might be one of the only state things that we can upgrade. For those of you guys who have sat in these meetings, I met with the state librarian yesterday and facilities from libraries. This was made in the 60s. And there's a few, I think she said 12 state public and school libraries in the state. And for this one here, you might think like, what can you reimagine of it? I'm going to put in for 1.5 million, and I made them give me a list of things. One of the things was they wanted to get new air conditioning, but another thing was to reimagine the space. Like we look at this and maybe we think, you know, this is just a room and the books on the other side. But she told me in White and Ice Library that they do things like have a quilting club. They really want to hear stuff from the community, what the community wants, and that's what they want to build for people. In Nanakuli, which is where I used to work at, they do genealogy, look at their family bloodlines and look at blood quantum. And why is that important? It's because Homestead is out there. And in some place like Kahuku, their library has, and by request by the community, they have sewing machines in there. And I'm told that every single library, they have ukuleles to play. And you guys can learn how to play ukulele if you want to. They have it online. You can do things like stream movies. There's a whole bunch of free stuff. And they had, I think 90,000 attendees in their free programs last year. And 16,000 people participated in their summer reading program. They want to try for 25,000 this year, and of which their first place winner that last summer and as sponsored for the last couple of years was, now it's Alaska Airlines, but they gave 4 round-trip tickets to the winner. So the library really wants to be a place in the community, and this is our only one. And for a huge, huge area like the 96706 Eva Beach, this is a really tiny library here. So, you know, as far as this, I think that this can be reimagined different. She said even things like, if the community wants something like a commercial kitchen, they're willing to build that here where the community can come and use it. And even for their business, do test kitchens. I saw that, I think in San Francisco, they have test kitchens to make ice cream and different kind of things there. But if that's what the community wants, they're willing to do things like that here. And so that's something that I want us to think about, of having meeting spaces instead of somebody saying, meet me at Starbucks. Representative Alcos or Representative Garcia could say, here, meet me at the Eva Beach Public Library, because they have meeting spaces there. So think about, you know, those. The one, Chair, if I can just get a little bit more, the one resolution that I'm looking at, just, and by the way, these are not everything that I'm doing, it's just a snapshot.
Yeah, if you could though, that you talked about the library for 2 minutes. That's important, but you know, for the rest of
Okay.
let's cut it back a little bit.
To extend the PRTF working group resolution, it expires 6/30/2025 this year. And Holly is working on getting the group together for that. Then she's new as a session staff coming in on January 2nd, but that's what she's working on. The 3 committees that I'm on is finance, labor and government operations, and culture and the arts. Opening day is January 15th. If anybody wants to come 10 o'clock, but come earlier than 10 o'clock because the public can start walking in at 9:30 if you don't have tickets. And if you have any ideas for bills, CIP, or concerns, you can contact me by phone at 5869730, email at repreyesoda@capital.hawaii.gov, or in person in room 310. Thank you, and I will stand by for any questions.
Awesome. That was only an extra 40 seconds.
Thank you for the time. Yeah.
Any questions? Yes, Susan.
Yes, are you going to do kind of a survey to see what the community wants to reimagine the library?
I think that's the library. Well, I think first that they need to get money for that. But she is, and we talked specifically about this, and I pressed on her about having over 3,000 kids here, and about how almost every single public school is crowded, and that we will squeeze every single use of any land here unless it's housing when we go shop at Kapolei or everywhere else, that we need to be able to stay here, that we need to revitalize our land, not just for living, but to actually do stuff here. And so I think they are willing to do those things and have meetings outside. So that's something that they would want to do. And I would work with them on it.
Thank you. Other questions from other members of the board? Alex?
Hey, Jenna, thanks and congratulations. Obviously, I've told you, but good job. It's really cool to hear all the initiatives that you're pursuing. They sound great, like lots of energy, and it's good to see. I also wanted to thank you for trying to give continuity to House Resolution 18 and the working group on the Pulaloa Range Training Facility. And please definitely keep us in the loop and let us know when that meeting is so we can be involved and just have some productive conversations on those topics. I appreciate it. And congrats again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Isaiah?
Yeah, hey, Representative. I just wanted to bring up one thing. I thought maybe I would talk about this in the community concerns, but I just want to bring it to someone's attention who might be able to do something about it. But on Noello Street, they do all of the Christmas lights, and it's really nice and very beautiful. And it made the news as well, which is great, except for all of the traffic that it makes. And it's actually so much traffic that when you go walking around through there, the residents are self-policing the traffic, and they're like creating roadblocks with their cars. And it's over now, but for next year, because this also happened last year, I don't know if it's possible to get, like traffic enforcement over there to help, or open up the park to some more parking for that. But it seems like it's not going to stop. Every year it's going to happen, which is great. I think it's a good thing to bring people here, but I think we need to do something about the parking problem. It just creates traffic like all the way everywhere, all the way down. So just putting it on your radar if you didn't know about it or anybody else.
Well, I live in Gentry, so I live right across the street from there, and I took Representative Garcia to walk that street to go look at Christmas lights, so I'm well aware of it. I think, Aaron Ho, if you can, is there anything that we can add to anything about the streets? Okay, he said we can talk about it later, but thank you for bringing it up.
I just have one regarding the library. If you build it, they will come. That's the moniker that I would love to have. In other words, you know, a lot of times Mitch and I were just talking about how these special projects come to Eva, like they're testing the concrete or it's not concrete, whatever the road, the asphalt is. I don't know if you were on the board at the time, but probably about 6 or 7 years ago, they were doing this park reinventing and investing money in all the parks. And where did they start? They started on White High, and they were working their way Eva bound. And of course, they ran out of money around Ala Moana Park. So, you know, going forward with you and you haven't been on the board and been very engaged in the community, let's not, you know, minimize our expectations on what we can do for the library. I think if we build it to the expectations that you would like to see and others would like to see, people will come. Because what you're going to face, of course, is opposition. What is the readership? How many people come to the library? Well, maybe many people don't come to this library because they go to the Kapolei Library, because look at the Kapolei Library. But if this one were to look like the Kapolei Library, then they would come.
Because she also was even saying that if the books don't draw people, they're willing to get like movable furniture, take some of the books down and start putting stuff like computers, if that's something that's up. So they're not necessarily married to this old idea.
Yeah.
They're willing to actually change.
I think it has to be computers. That has to be a baseline expectation.
What she did say was that Eva Beach doesn't deserve a library of the past. It deserves a library of the future.
I love that. That's cool. Thank you, Rep.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry. Public questions. We had to stick board questions. I do have one person online that would like to ask you a question. Sarah, go ahead. Yep. She put her hand down now. Anyone else like to make a comment? Suggestion for the rep?
Oh, sorry. I thought it was on.
Hold on, Tara. Hold on. Go ahead, sir. State your name first, please.
Dave Morris. One thing, as you're looking at the bills, I know this has floated through in the last couple of years, and I guess this question would be for you too, Rep. Alcos. Can you keep an eye out for the bill that's trying to harmonize the GET exemption for nonprofits with the UBTI on the federal side? Because I've got there's this weird gap in Hawaii law where what's exempt for GET is not the same as what's exempt for income tax. And when you've got an all volunteer board, I've got, with the VFW, we got all volunteers, and then we oversee a Cub Scout pack, all volunteers, and trying to explain to people where that gap is and what the line between fundraising that's going to be trigger GET and not, that's so confusing. And it would be great if you can kind of keep an eye out for that. And on the library thing, one thing that I might suggest is make those meetings, figure out a way to make it where you can book those meetings outside of normal business hours. Because one of the biggest challenges with dealing with anything that the government provides is that you got to do it on their time, and you got to show up on their time. And a lot of us that are working in the community as volunteers are doing it in the evenings, on the weekends, when folks don't want to show up. So that would be something to keep in mind, either like online booking, maybe some sort of way to unlock it without having to have staff down there, something like that. That would open up the opportunities for using those meeting spaces.
Okay, two things. So number one, can you email me that represor@capital.hawaii.gov?
Yep.
And then second thing, when she told me when they did surveys before, the three things that has come up is that people love their libraries. They had issues with the hours being so short. And the third thing is that they want more programs. So they do know it's on the radar about the hours.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Rep. One more question from Tara. Tara, go ahead.
Aloha. Yay, mahalo. And congratulations, Julie. And I love your initiatives and everything. So I just have one quick question though. Could you just elaborate a little bit more again or repeat the PRTF, the 63025? A brief
Okay,
summary of
so
what it is?
sure. Former Representative Rose Martinez wrote and got passed a resolution last year called HR 18, House Resolution 18. So then if you look it up, it's 2024. And with that resolution, it's about creating a work group for PRTF, but that resolution expires on June 30th of 2025. And since I came in and Holly is just working on it, I want to ask for it to be extended because this was something that they hadn't done meetings, and I just came into office in October, started to get staff in at the end of December, and then my session staff started on January 2nd. So I'm going to put in to ask to extend it.
Okay, mahalo. And yeah, for the library redesign, that's awesome. That was it. Mahalo.
Thanks.
Thank you, Rep. Owen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next up, Rep. David Outcoast III.
Thank you, Chair. And I just want to say thank you for your prayer. That was a nice opening prayer, well needed. And may each and every one of you have a very awesome new year come. And hopefully, 2024 was a lot of tragedy, but hopefully 2025 be much better. I do want to say big mahalo to some of the people who came out to my town hall meeting in December. Also with the Christmas parade, and we also had a big group of guys that went trawling all over the neighborhood, singing Christmas caroling. And I just want to say mahalo for that as well. And to some of the family and friends who came out to my wife's celebration of life and, who prayed and was there. So thank you so much to the community about that. Moving on with the capital, all these bills are coming true. I'm putting in about 18 bills. One of the bills that I'm putting in now is a sex trafficking bill. Really, sex trafficking is on a rise here in Hawaii, and I'm trying to go more after the pimps. Trying to make it much harder for them and making crime more hard. Also putting in some CIP money. So I did put in, like you said, some of the funds lap. I already put in $7 million for Campbell High School Sports Complex, putting in a couple $1 million for Ilima, all the elementary schools in our area. I have 4, so each one I have $1 million for all the schools. For the Coral Sea Road, I do want to put in about $10 million to improve. As you guys know, that the Navy took over the city took over the parks, the Coral Sea Road area for city and county. So I want to try to get $10 million to get the pickleball parks going, or some kind of swimming pool, or something that what the community wants. So I want to try to work on getting funds in that area as well. For Oniula Beach Park, 2 years ago, we had $3 million. I'm going to go back again and get more money because I know that the money is going to lapse and that we can continue on building our bathrooms. During the neighborhood board, there were a concern, a parent came out, not the neighborhood board, but the town hall meeting. There was a parent came out and said how dangerous our roads is when the school finish or school starts, that these kids are crossing the street and getting banged, or not getting banged, but close to getting banged. Some of them do get banged. And I just want to inform you that we went out there, my team and I, and, stand out there and watch these issues. But the city and county is paying $16 an hour, I believe. If anybody from the community want to get out there and help the kids, cross the street, that you can get out there and get paid. Or if anybody want to volunteer, we're still looking for a volunteer. And just a little bit more is there is a kitchen that the state built out in Wahiawa. They spent $34 million. If anybody want to learn how to cook, want to make their own product, it's maybe 5 times bigger than this kitchen here at Campbell High School. It it opened, they're giving scholarships of $1,000. It costs like $1,500 for 12 weeks. And probably you would just come out $500 from your pocket. And again, come to opening day on the 15th. Hope to see you guys there. Come visit me at the office. There's going to be food and just say hi. Other than that, thank you. Happy New
Thank you
Year.
for the initial report, Rep. Could you stand by for questions? Corey, have a question?
Yeah, Rep Alcos, you know, that crosswalk right across from Lima is a huge problem. It is a disaster waiting to happen. And I've never understood why it's needed when 100 yards either way is a crosswalk with a light. You know, kids just dart across it all the time. So I don't know if it's possible just to remove it.
Thank you.
Alex?
Yeah. Hey, David, Rep. Alcos, condolences to you and your family. Thanks for showing up and pursuing a lot of those initiatives. So I had a question for you. I know you've been a rep now for a couple of years, and this can be for the board as well. People that have been on it longer than me. So, I have this question about, so we put in the $3 million with Tupola and other people for, say, Honolulu Beach Park. And of that $3 million, about 800,000 was then allocated to actually design the comfort station, as you know, right? And so in the end, then 2 million of that went back. And so when you and other representatives and when we're trying to approach about doing projects for our community, is this best strategy still to say, okay, I want 10 million to do this whole project? Or is it, and I ask this openly and honestly because I don't know the answer, or is it better to take it in stages and say, hey, I want, $800,000 or $2 million to design this crosswalk or this park comfort station or these different things, and then be each year asking? I just don't know. Or is it better to introduce the whole idea and pick pieces off it, understanding that we're going to return probably the majority of that money as the process continues,
So to answer your question, permits a lot of times is the problem drawing up. And so I put in a bill where they got to address permits within 6 months instead of taking 2 years. Trying to figure out some ways to make things quicker so the money don't lapse. So if you guys can support that bill. I also last year did one where the state built their own permit department. That didn't work. So still working on trying to, Alex, I understand it's tough for the money for going lapse all the time. So I just want to make sure that I'm there and building relationships with the guys in charge, and we don't burn bridges, that we can always come back and take care of our community instead of, if we ask, then, being on the bad side is going to be hard. So it's a political game. And as a Republican, it's tough too sometimes, honestly.
Appreciate the honesty there, Rep.
Yeah.
Alex, I want to follow up. So my background is in contracting, acquisition and contracting at the federal level. But I network with state and city and county level contracting officers. And I would tell you that, I'll just say that the federal level was very specific, not that there aren't things that happen at the federal level, but there's certain things that happen at the state and city and county level here that should not happen. I think that's a polite way of putting it. To the point that, remember when we were really pushing to get air conditioning for our schools here in Eva Beach, when the RFP, the request for proposal, initially went out, the bids came in so high that they canceled the bids because they came in, the city and county did the state did an independent estimate of what they thought it should cost to put air conditioning in schools, and the cost came in 3 and 4 and 5 times that.
More than that.
Yeah, it was insane. So it was better to just cancel that. And I'm not going to say that there was some untoward things going on, but when they solicited the opening, when they reopened the solicitation, it came back down to more in tune with the government's estimates. So that's a little insight there for you for what goes on. We live on an island. What are you going to do? Mitch, you had a question? And then Corey.
Was that the 3 million for Pu'uloa or for Oni'ula?
3 million was for Oni'ula.
So whatever happened to Poulon with the roof, just putting the roof? I think we gotta scratch that and just build a whole new comfort station closer to the road instead of trying to put on a roof where everything's obsolete. You know, the pavilion, the water lines, the sewer. You know, they're gonna shut them down if we put a roof on them. So maybe put in one brand new comfort station on the left, you know, closer to Iroquois side, you know, by the parking lot.
I agree. Yeah, I'll follow up with that, Mitch.
Also where there's traffic and people can see. Yeah. Corey?
Just to answer the question, especially when we're talking about the $500 million that lapsed in the DOE, you know, one of the problems we always had is that in the DOE, you have project managers that are supposed to take on this one. Those project managers, one, they don't have enough. So they take on more projects than they can take. Two, they're less experienced than in the private sector because the private sector pays better. So you have basically people that are underpaid, taking on more projects, and as soon as they get enough experience, they leave, and they can never hire enough. So what happens is when the money comes in from the ledge, they can't spend it because they don't have the people to do it.
Right. Thank you, Corey. Alex?
Yeah, I was just gonna follow up with Mitch that, I think Aaron, if Aaron Ho's still there, he can confirm this, but Representative Tolba has had a CIP and to redo, and I think the most recent was to scratch the whole thing and start over. And so he's put that in consistently every year. It just doesn't get, can't remember if it doesn't get allocated or if it gets allocated, but then it never gets, the funds don't ever get released. But I just want to put on your radar that CIP has been in there for multiple years now. I know David was a part of that as well.
He was on a Parks Committee. Oh, never mind. Okay, moving on. Thanks, Rep. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
District 42, Representative Diamond Garcia.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. I'll be quick because I know I'm standing between you and your bed. So I have my newsletters in the back there. First things first, as was mentioned by both reps, opening day is next week, Wednesday. I would highly recommend you guys to come down to the state capitol. Per the Constitution, we are required to open the third Wednesday of January at 10 a.m. So as Rep Ray Zoda mentioned, if you could be there around 9, because there will be lots of people. The committees that I'll be on this session, these next 2 years, is Human Services and Homelessness, the Health Committee, and the Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs Committee. If there are any issues that pertains to these committees, please feel free to reach out to our office. Update, my office is hosting a town hall meeting at Honouliuli Middle School on January 28th. It's a Tuesday evening. At that meeting, I'll be going over all the bills that I'll be introducing this year and supporting as well. And then lastly, on the back page of your newsletter, there's a QR code. Please scan that QR code. It walks you step by step in a nice video format on how to submit testimony. One of the biggest problems we have at the Capitol is sometimes there's lots of good bills or bad bills, but very rarely do people show up and testify unless it's quite controversial. We need our community members to show up and testify on legislation. This makes it very simple, concise, and clear for you to understand. And the good thing is now it's all virtual, so you could stay home and stay on your couch and testify in person. So please testify. Any questions, please contact our office, and that's pretty much it. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Rep. Any questions from members of the community? Mitch? Oh, excuse me, board members. Mitch?
Opening day,
Yes.
January 15th.
15th.
Where we go park?
A good question. Capitol has.
There went Honolulu City Lights.
Yeah.
Circling.
That's right. That's right. My recommendation is park at the Pali Safeway at the very back and Uber in, or find somewhere at a public park and Uber in, because the parking, unless you plan to be there at 6 a.m. and get one of those handicap stalls, or if you have a grandma or somebody, bring them with you so you can park in the handicap downstairs.
Nice.
Or take the bus.
Oh,
That's right.
You were asking how much it costs earlier? See, now you know. Now you know. Any questions from other board members online? Alex?
Yeah, that's great. That video, I think that's exactly what we need to help our community members understand how to do it, right? I think then the other half of that is when there are resolutions that our representatives want us to chime in on, to remind us and keep sending that video to our constituents and all that, so that we know, because we need to be informed on those, even though they're not very controversial. If our reps are showing up and telling us, hey, remember, do this, watch this video, remind yourself, that'd be fantastic. Is that available like on your on a website or something? Or
Yes, it's on my
maybe
website.
a link in the
It's
chat
set up.
for, I don't know.
Yes, it is at repgarcia.com, but also the QR code links to a YouTube video on my office YouTube channel. So it's a YouTube video that you can text to your friends and family.
Excellent.
Thank you. Sarah?
Oh, that's awesome. And you said the Hawaiian Affairs, could you repeat, are those issues you're tackling, or you're on the Hawaiian Affairs Committee?
Yeah, I'm sitting on the Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs Committee. It's a combined committee. My office is focusing on lots of Hawaiian affairs bills. I have East Kapolei, so all the Kapolei homesteads, we're looking at making sure that things are being done right. And so I have quite a few Hawaiian affairs bills being introduced. Come to our town hall meeting and we'll go over them in detail.
Okay, awesome. And then where is it going to be at again? Honolulu
Honolulu Middle School, Tuesday, January 28th, 6 to 8 p.m.
Okay, mahalo.
Thank you.
And I just have one quick one, Rep. Can you talk about what happens on open house day? 'Cause we all the reps talk about it, but I don't know if the general public really knows what goes on open house day.
That's a good point. Yeah. So opening day is, once again, per the Constitution, we are opening the legislature. This is the 33rd legislature. Every legislature is a 2-year period. And so we're opening the 33rd legislature. The House and Senate convenes at the same time. So you can go to either chamber and watch the floor processions. What happens on opening day is all ceremonial. You'll have nice performances by various recording artists. And then the Speaker of the House will give their pitch of what they plan to push for this session. The majority and minority leaders will also give their speeches of what they're proposing this session. And that's pretty much it. And then the floor ceremony stops and the building opens up and all the offices are open. So you can walk through the entire building, meet all the elected officials in both the House and Senate. Most of them will have food. So there's lots of people who bring their Ziploc bags and collect food and go from office to office. That's totally fine. You're more than welcome to. But that's pretty much what opening day is. It's a time when the public can come to the Capitol and meet their elected officials. Open house.
Thank you, Rep.
Thank you.
And I wanted you to go over that because I want to remind everyone, it's your house.
That's right.
It is your house. So because it's your house, you should go check out your house, check out your elected officials. You should feel comfortable in the house. You should feel comfortable in the chamber. So thank you. That was a very good explanation. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Parking will be tough. Okay, moving on to committee reports. I'm not expecting any. Are we having any by exception? Parks?
No.
Education? No. Transportation? John Rogers is out.
Actually, Chair, sorry, I did just want to know, I did have one couple of updates on park stuff.
Okay,
really
please.
quickly. Let me just remember. I have it written down here. Give me a second. My apologies. So I had asked about the status of the comfort station at Honolulu Beach Park, because as I mentioned earlier, the funding one is actually allocated for the design of that comfort station. And I just want to give an update that so the whole issue was trying to get those plans drafted before the funds expired, right? And so it did. So it was the draft. What I've been told by Thielen's new deputy director, Ted Hayden, is that there is a draft of the plans that were submitted to DDC for review, and that the consultant will be starting HECO consultations soon. And so I asked for an update, like if they could actually share the draft, and if they're able to, I'll obviously share that here. But there's the update on that. So it's moving forward. So hopefully there's more CIP funds being requested for the actual construction. And then I also asked about the status of the irrigation project that is happening at the ballpark field in Honolulu, the park at the end of the driveway. And they said that that the irrigation improvements, the notice is out, and that the construction start date was on the 2nd of January, so it already started. But I drove by there and nothing had started, so I also pinged them earlier today just to see if they had an update. So I'll share that hopefully next month as well. So that's my updates.
Thank you for that informative report, Board Member Gauss. OMPO, Citizen Advisory. Susan, you have
Yes,
something?
yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I went on John's behalf and they presented some really innovative ideas on what to do with some of our bus stops, including, adding Wi-Fi and interactive screens so that you could see when the next bus is coming, and powering by solar. And they were just really innovative just to make the bus stops safer and, more attractive for people to be waiting in. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. And where's John? He's Australia, Indonesia now. Oh, okay. Good for John. Economic development, no report. Climate change, Miss Susan Gorman Chang, no report. Okay. Hawaiian affairs, Rep. Reyes Oda. Just not on the board. Okay. Military affairs.
I am having a hard time getting my video going, Chair. I got kicked out of the meeting. Anyway, as I mentioned previously, looking to hopefully have a Military Affairs Committee meeting next month. Please contact me if you have ideas for agenda items or would like to actually be on the committee. And I put my email address in the top of the chat there earlier as well. So sorry about my video.
Yep. I would actually like to send a special thank you to Isaiah and the other SIC members for showing up online. Without you, we would not have had quorum tonight. And thank you to the members that did show up in the physical space as well. Next regular meeting scheduled for Thursday, February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day at 7 p.m. virtually via WebEx and in person at the Eva Beach Public Library right here. Regular board meetings are broadcast every first Sunday at 6 p.m. and every second and fourth Friday at 10 a.m. on Olelo Digital Channel 49. Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned.